Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
We can start, sir.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to this program. Today we are on the third day for CBOA is conducting the session. So yesterday I completed the credit related matters PowerPoint presentation 2 along with the questions and answers. So in the CBOA site or WhatsApp group, whatever you say, the question paper, credit related matters along with answers is also now updated. It is available to you. First it was updated without answers, then now it is with answers. So PowerPoint presentation and question paper with answers are also there. So please go through. First, you should go through the PowerPoint presentation, understand the concepts, then you try to answer the question. You will not miss out anything. So yesterday afternoon, you attended the class taken by Mr. Reddy. And also yesterday, there was a nurture program conducted by CBOA Manipal. So as far as possible, though you have a video recording and whatever it is, try to spend time and try to attend the class and hear as much as possible. This will be value addition to your, that is getting more marks in the examination. So that is the idea of the programs conducted by us. Now today, I'll be quickly going through the deposit related matters. So finish up the questions around 60, 65 questions are there in this paper. I'll finish it off along with the PowerPoint. And then I will take up the important policy of the bank, that OTA settlement policy, or you call it as compromise policy of the bank. So the compromise policy was given in the loan recovery policy. The recovery aspects, NPA, SARFACI, SMA, recovery agent, and whatever you call SARFACI agents, etc., everything will be covered by some other gentleman. So I will be touching upon completely covering the OTS policy of the bank. Questions are definitely will come from the OTS policy of the bank. Okay, for the OTS policy of the bank, there is no question paper I have prepared. It is only a PowerPoint presentation with detailed explanation. Please hear it when I'll be discussing it. Now, yesterday we have been discussing under that is deposit related matters. So we discussed about, again to recapitulate what we have been seeing up to yesterday. We have seen the interest rate for deposits. What is the Reserve Bank of India guideline? The interest rate, minimum period, maximum period, domestic deposit, NRO deposit, NRE deposit, FCNR deposit, everything we have seen. What Reserve Bank of India is telling and what Canara Bank has implemented. So in detail, we saw the presentation is already there in the CBOA website. Now, yesterday we saw this slide. With that, we wound up the session. Today also by 1:15, I will try to wind up the session. Don't worry. So bulk deposits, so I told you in the circular, if you see the HO circular, you get rates for all categories. That is, first you will get one section, that is callable deposits. That is up to less than 3 crores. You will get callable deposits less than 3 crores. You will get various rate of interest, various slab. Next side, you will get non-callable deposits more than 1 crore, less than 3 crores. So to callable deposit, that is less than 3 crores. Non-callable deposit, that is premature withdrawal is not permitted, more than 1 crore, less than 3 crore. So less than 3 crore is a non-bulk deposit. Okay, so you will get callable, non-callable. For callable, 1 rupee to less than 3 crores. Non-callable, more than 1 crore to less than 3 crores. Why non-callable more than 1 crore? I told you, Reserve Bank of India has told deposits that is for individuals, either singly or jointly, before maturity closure should be available for deposits up to 1 crore or below. That is why we have non-callable deposit more than 1 crore up to 3 crores. So two sides. Then we have bulk deposit. We have circular for bulk deposit, 3 crores to 10 crores. Then 10 crores, like that, various amount wise bucket will be there. Then period also will be there if you see the circular. Now, that is less than 3 crores, either callable or non-callable, whatever rate of interest given in the circular to be quoted to the depositors. For then, the 3 crores and above is the bulk deposit. Reserve Bank of India has given freedom to banks to charge different rate of interest, or to give different rate of interest for single bulk deposits of 3 crores and above. So in the circular, you get various buckets amount, 3 crores to 10 crores, 10 crores to 50 crores, whatever it is, and period also. Now the rate of interest is also given there. Now you see, So bulk deposits of 3 crores and above, but less than 10 crores, branches can accept the deposit at card rates without any permission. So whatever it is given in the circular, bulk deposit 3 crores and above 10 crores, if you are accepting, you can accept, no need for anybody's permission at the card rate. Suppose for this 3 crores and above and up to 10 crores, if you want to use some rate of interest more than what is given in the circular, then permission from integrated treasury wing through circles to be obtained. So they are asking this question, whose permission to be obtained? That is why I have put it a separate slide. Suppose, so this is 3 to 10. So you have 10 and above, what is the question? But deposits of 10 crores and above, all branches cannot accept. Single deposit of 10 crores and above, all branches cannot accept. Only some designated branches have to accept. The concept of designated branches have come in the HO circular 521/21. Who has to designate? So circle will recommend, and that is wing head that of S and R, strategic and resource wing. Earlier, the name of the wing was SP and D wing. Now it is strategic and resource wing head, will give permission. Those branches only can accept bulk deposit of 10 crores and above. Now, whether they can accept bulk deposit of 10 crores and above based on the rate given in the circular, even if they want to accept the bulk deposit of 10 crores and above, any designate branch at the court rate also have to get permission from, that is T&I division, integrated treasury wing Mumbai, through resources section circle before accepting the deposit even at court rates. More than court rates want also, they have to get permission from that. So here 3 to 10 crores, no need for permission with the same rate. 3 to 10 crores permission is required if the rate is different. They want higher rate. The permission to be taken from these people. Here about 10 crores and above, they have to get permission even at court rates or above court rates from these people through this section. Okay, this point you keep in mind. That is what I have covered in my question paper. Question number 20. As per HO Circular 97/24, as per HO Circular 97/24, read along with 435/24. I told you 97/24 is the circular for that is non-bulk deposit, which is from February 2024, that continues today also. And then 435/24 is the definition of the bulk deposit underwent a change. Okay. So as per HO Circular 97/24, read along with 435/24, branches desirous of accepting deposit of 3 crores and above to less than 10 crores with preferential interest rate, permission from whom to be obtained. No need for permission as the rates are quoted in the circular from resources wing, from integrated treasury wing, from resources section RO, from integrated treasury wing, because they want to give preferential rate of interest. So from integrated treasury wing through circles, they have to get the permission. And question number 21. Single bulk deposits of 10 crores and above to be accepted by designated branches as detailed in 521/21 after getting permission from. So that means deposits of 10 crores and above, even to accept at the card rate, permission to be obtained from T&I division, integrated treasury wing Mumbai through resources section of the circle office. For question number 21, answer is A. Question number 22. Okay, we have seen up to that. Now we are now going to callable, non-callable, callable, etc., etc. Okay, question number 22. Which is correct? Question number 22. Which is correct with regard to non-callable deposits in our bank with effect from 11/6/2024 as per HO Circular 97/24, read along with 435/24. If you have not gone through, please go through once 435/24 and 97/24. So which is correct with regard to non-callable deposit? So I told you that is first is callable deposit less than 3 crores, non-callable deposit above 1 crore less than 3 crores, then bulk deposit. In bulk deposit also 3 crores to 10 crores, etc. I told you, no, bulk deposit also we have bulk callable deposit, we have bulk non-callable deposit. Keep in mind there are 4 categories. Callable deposit less than 3 crores. Non-callable deposit above 1 crore less than 3 crores. Then we are going to the bulk. Bulk callable deposit, there is 3 crores and above. Bulk non-callable deposits, 3 crores and above. So, okay, both 4 things should be there in your circular. So these things you should keep in mind. Okay, which is correct with regard to non-callable deposit in our bank from 11/6/2024 as per HO Circular 97/24, read along with 435/24. So non-callable deposit only they are told. They are not told non-callable bulk deposit. There is a difference between non-callable deposit and non-callable bulk deposit. If it is non-callable bulk, it is 3 crores and above. Non-callable means less than 3 crores, above 1 crore, less than that is 3 crores. Okay, which is correct with regard to non-callable deposit. Point number 1. Question number 22 we are seeing. Point number 1. Rupees 1 crore and above and less than rupees 3 crores. Yes, correct. That is a non-callable deposit. Non-callable, not non-callable bulk. If it is non-callable bulk, it should be above 3 crores. Okay. Rupees 1 crore and above, and it is not 1 crore and above. I told you, it is above 1 crore. Non-callable deposit should be above 1 crore. So, which is correct? It is as point number A is not correct. Okay. So, the point number A is not correct. Point number 2 we'll see. So, which is correct? It is asked. Minimum 46 days for domestic and NRO and 1 year for NRE, and then maximum less than 3 years. So, non-callable deposit means deposit more than 1 crore, less than 3 crores. So what is the period for which we are accepting non-callable deposit, not non-callable bulk, non-callable deposit above 1 crore, less than 3 crores, we are accepting minimum 46 days and maximum less than 3 years only. Again, I repeat. So non-callable deposit, that is more than 1 crore, less than 3 crores, as on date, we are accepting minimum 46 days, maximum less than 3 years only. So in the case of NRE non-callable, minimum period should be 1 year and maximum period in all the cases should be less than 3 years. So point number 2, minimum 46 days for domestic and NRO and 1 year for NRE, that is correct, and maximum less than 3 years, that is also correct. Point number 3, differential interest rate is applicable for this deposit, correct. So different rate will be there as compared to callable deposit. Premature closure, sweep in and sweep out, and automatic renewal is not available for this facility. Yes, that is correct. Loans against non-callable deposit is also permitted. Yes, loans against non-callable deposit is also permitted, which is correct. So your option, there are 5 options are given. The questions are given like that. A, 1 to 5 all. 1 to 5 all are not correct because the question is which is correct. 1 and 2 only. That is also not there. 1 to 4 all. So that is also, that is which is correct. So 1 is not correct, isn't it? 1 is not correct. So D is none of these. Now you see, so 1 is not correct because 1 crore and above and less than 3 crores, I told it is a non-callable deposit. It is not 1 crore and above. It is more than 1 crore for non-callable deposit. So 2 is correct, 3 is correct, 4 is correct, 5 is correct. So 1 to 5 all correct is not correct. 1 and 2 only not correct is not, so is correct is not correct. 1 to 4 all is correct. No, so it is not there. So which is correct? So none of these. So here the correct answer is 2 to 5 all are correct. 2 to 5 all are correct. 1 is not correct. So question number 22, 2 to 5, no, that is all of them are correct and 1 is not correct. Question number 23, which is not correct with regard to bulk deposits under NRO term deposit as per HO Circular 621/2024. I am again repeating to you. So bulk deposit means 3 crores and above. So bulk deposit can be accepted either in domestic or NRO or NRE. So bulk deposit means 3 crores and above. There is no upper limit. So it can be accepted either in term deposit or either in the domestic deposit or NRO deposit or NRE deposit. Again, I am telling bulk deposit can be either callable or non-callable. Okay, let us see. This is the latest circular 621/2024. According to me, is the latest circular for bulk deposit interest rates, both callable and non-callable, which is not correct with regard to bulk deposit and NRO term deposit as per HO circular 621/2024. A new slab 7 to 30 days and 31 to 40 days has been introduced for bulk domestic and NRO term deposit. So, if you see the normal interest rate circular, which is 97/2024, you start with 7 days, 7 to 45 days. then 46 to like that it will come. So what they did in 621 by 2024, when they went to quote the rate of interest for bulk deposit, for which bulk deposit? Bulk NRO term deposit and domestic term deposit. NRE minimum period to be 1 year. Okay. So with regard to bulk deposit, domestic deposit and bulk NRO term deposit, bank has introduced a new slab 7 to 30 days and 31 to 45 days. This slab is not available for that is normal deposit less than 3 crores as per HO Circular 97/24. So new slab has been introduced, that is correct. Minimum 46 days for domestic and NRO and 1 year for NRE and maximum 10 years for accepting non-callable bulk deposit. Here you see, sir, to accept a non-callable deposit, I'm not using the word bulk deposit. To accept a non-callable deposit, that means more than 1 crore, less than 3 crores. To accept a non-callable deposit, domestic and NRO minimum period should be 46 days and NRE should be 1 year and maximum for all of them 3 years. Here you see, to accept a non-callable bulk deposit, so minimum period is the same, 46 days for NRO and domestic and 1 year for NRE, but maximum bulk non-callable deposit you can accept for 10 years. So point number B is also correct. So question number that is 23 we are discussing. Point number B is also correct. One is correct, B, that is point number B is correct. The difference between these two you should be able to understand here. So then point number C, both A and B, which is not correct. The question is A is correct, B is correct. So both A and B is not correct. No. So point number D, neither A nor B are not correct. Neither A nor B not correct. That means both A and B are correct. So your answer for question number 23 should be, answer should be D. What is D? Neither A nor B not correct. That means both of them are correct. So point number 1 and point number 2 are correct. Sorry, point number A and point number B are correct as per HO Circular 621/24. So what you have to understand here is what is a callable, what is a non-callable. What is a callable bulk deposit and what is a non-callable bulk deposit. So, what is the minimum period for which a non-callable deposit is accepted for domestic and NRO? 7 days. What is the minimum period for a non-callable NRE deposit is accepted? 1 year. What is the maximum period a non-callable, sorry, what is the minimum period a non-callable deposit is accepted? Domestic and NRO, 46 days. NRE, 1 year. What is the maximum period for which a non-callable deposit is accepted? Less than 3 years. Coming to bulk callable and bulk non-callable. What is the minimum period for which a bulk callable deposit is accepted? Minimum 7 days. And you have a 2 slabs, 7 to 30 days and 31 to 45 days. Okay, what is the minimum period and the maximum period a bulk non-callable deposit is accepted? So the minimum period a bulk non-callable deposit for NRO domestic is 46 days and for NRE 1 year. What is the maximum period for which a bulk non-callable deposit is accepted? It is 10 years. Okay, that you distinguish between these two and introduction for these two slabs only. So I have quoted the HO Circular 621/24. That is the latest circular, sir, with regard to bulk callable, bulk non-callable deposit. Question number 24, which is not correct. So for question number 23, answer should be D. So question number 24. Now we are seeing question number 24, which is not correct with regard to interest rate for senior citizen term deposit as per HO Circular 97, 465, 538, 621/24. So which is not correct. Okay, in our bank, what we are going to do for a deposits of the senior citizen, which is not correct. The question is asked. Senior citizens, general public, are eligible for 0.50% additional interest for domestic term deposit of less than 3 crores for 180 days and above. Correct. In our bank, it is a senior citizen deposit. Domestic deposit, term deposit only, you can give additional interest. For NRE, NRO, FCNR, no additional interest. Senior citizen, a general public, he is eligible for 0.50% additional interest for domestic term deposit provided the amount is less than 3 crores and the period is 180 days and above. He is eligible for additional interest, both callable and non-callable. Okay, that the point number one is correct. Point number two, for bulk domestic term deposit, that is for bulk domestic term deposit, senior citizens, general public are not eligible for additional interest. So you see the first point, less than 3 crores only, they are eligible additional interest. If the amount is above 3 crores, or 3 crores and above, which is a bulk deposit, senior citizen, even if it is above 180 days, they are not eligible for additional interest. Then additional interest is not available for NRO, NRE, and FCNR deposit of senior citizens. That is correct. Point number D, ex-employee senior citizen. So I am an ex-employee senior citizen. Ex-employee senior citizens are eligible for 1.50% additional interest over and above the rates applicable for general public. So ex-employee senior citizens are eligible for 1.50% additional interest over and above the rates applicable for a general public, irrespective of the period and size of the domestic term deposit. Let us assume for 7 days for a that is general public, you are giving 4%. For general public senior person for 7 days, how much you give? Less than 3 crores. General public senior citizen, less than 3 crores. 7 days, how much additionally we will give? We will not give any additional interest. If it is only more than 180 days, you will give. So coming to an employee, irrespective of the period of the deposit, irrespective of the size of the deposit. So ex-employee senior citizen, irrespective the period of the deposit, irrespective the size of the deposit, even if I deposit today 10 crores, if I deposit for 7 days, you have to give me for an ex-employee senior citizen 1.50% more as applicable to the general public. So point number E is also correct. So which is not correct? None of these are not correct. So with regard to senior citizen deposit, interest rate freedom discretion is given by RBI to banks. If you want to give additional interest, you can give. If you don't want to give additional interest, you need not give. In our bank, we are giving like this, point number A. So question number 24, that is all are correct. None of them are not correct. So question number 24, answer is E. Question number 25. As per HO Circular 92/2024, which is not correct. So this should not be 92 if I am correct. 97, sir. You please correct it as 97. As per HO Circular 97/2024, which is not correct with regard to preference. Sorry, this is correct. So 92 only. So 92 only. So in 92/2024, bank has given guideline with regard to giving additional interest rate for employees, ex-employees, spouse of the deceased employee, spouse of the deceased ex-employee. Let us see the presentation, you will understand it. Okay, then we will go into this. Okay, sir, this we have seen. So additional interest for senior citizen, for general public senior citizen, 0.50% for 180 days and above, amount less than 3 crores of domestic term deposit. Then capital gains, if they invested in capital gains, no additional interest is permitted. NRO, NR and FCNR, no additional interest for the senior citizen. If they are deposited in the CAN tax saver, you know what is CAN tax saver? The maximum amount a person can invest in a financial in CAN tax saver is 1.50 lakhs only. And then maximum joint depositors under CAN tax saver can be 2 only. The first person should be a senior citizen. So the period is only one period, 5 years. Before maturity closure is not permitted unless the depositors die. Otherwise, before maturity closure is not permitted. No loan or it can be given against the senior citizens of the CAN tax saver deposit. Okay, so CAN tax saver, so for the senior citizen, you are giving 0.50% more than the general public. So additional interest for senior citizen, which you had discussed in the earlier question. Then preferential interest rate for employees and ex-employees of Canara Bank. That was circular 92/24. From this last year, one question was asked for on scale. Because last year also, every year, they are updating the circular. This year, the circular for employees interest rate 92/2024. As employees, we should know. For SB, employees, ex-employees, spouse of the deceased employee or spouse of the deceased ex-employee, all of them will get only 1% additional interest for SB deposit. Okay. Coming to term deposit. So only domestic term deposit eligible for additional interest. So for NRO, NRE, FCNR, capital gains, employees are not eligible for additional interest rate. Domestic term deposit employees, ex-employees, spouse of the deceased employee or spouse of the deceased ex-employee, all of them will get 1% irrespective of the size and tenor. So even if these people put for 7 days, you have to give 1% additional. Even if they put 100 crores, you have to put 1% additional. Okay. Next, domestic term deposit of ex-employee senior citizen. So if the ex-employee is alive and if he is senior citizen, 60 years and above, we are retiring. If the ex-employee is alive and if he is a senior citizen, he is eligible for 1.50% more than the rate of interest given to the general public, irrespective of the size and tenor of the deposit. Why they are giving for ex-employee senior citizen 1.5? Because as per Reserve Bank of India guideline, whatever additional interest you are giving to the senior citizen, you can extend it to the ex-employee senior citizen also. But again, discretion is given to the bank. So tomorrow bank can withdraw this discretion. Today, bank is giving to ex-employee senior citizen, if they are alive, for the deposit 1.50% irrespective of the size and tenor of the deposit. Then can tax saver. So it is a special scheme. Whether employees or ex-employees are eligible for preferential rate of interest, can tax saver, employees, ex-employees, ex-employee senior citizen, they are eligible only 1% over the general public. Here you see ex-employee senior citizen is eligible for 1.50% domestic term deposit. If it is can tax saver, he is also eligible, ex-employee senior citizen, only for 1%. Suppose if I come and deposit in for 5 years in a normal deposit, you will give me 1.50% more. Suppose today if I come and invest in a can tax saver, you will give me 1% more than what is available for the customer. Maximum is only 1.50 lakhs. Maximum 1.50 lakhs in a financial year, and the period of the can tax saver is 5 years. Okay. So capital gain. So deposits made under capital gain scheme, NRO term deposit, NRE term deposit, and FCNR deposit, no additional interest for any category of the employee. So no additional interest, only domestic term deposit, additional interest is permitted. Okay, sir. Now let us quickly go through few questions there, important questions. It is useful for you for your day-to-day work also. Okay, many people are asking various doubts. Okay. Now, as per HO Circular 92/24, which is not correct with regard to preferential interest rate for employees, ex-employees, spouse of the deceased employee, and spouse of the deceased ex-employee. A confirmed or probationary employee, either singly or jointly with any of his family members, is eligible. Correct. Even a probationer who joined yesterday, he is eligible. Point number B, declaration by the employee and that the monies deposited belong to the employee to be obtained in NF 115. Point number C, deposits of temporary employees is not eligible. This question they asked last time. Deposits of temporary employee means without any staff number. So deposits of temporary employees means without any staff number. If the employee is there, no preferential interest is available either in SB or domestic term deposit. So point number C they asked last time. Deposits of temporary employees is not eligible for preferential interest rate. Deposits in the name of individual, minor child of the employee represented by the employee as guardian is not eligible. Let us assume. So I am opening a deposit for my that is dependent child, and I am the guardian who is going to operate the deposit, my father and guardian. So I am my father, I am an ex-employee senior citizen. So I have opened a deposit, let us assume for a minor, that is a minor child or something like that. So even though that is I am only operating the deposit on behalf of the minor. So that deposit is not eligible for preferential rate of interest as applicable to the employee or ex-employee. On the other hand, along with the minor, I open the deposit at the employee or ex-employee open as a joint applicant. So you can open a minor's deposit along with the adult as the joint deposit. If I open as a father, if I open as a joint deposit with my minor child, and when I am number one in that deposit is eligible for preferential rate of interest. But minor deposit represented by either mother or father who are employees or ex-employees of the bank, that minor deposit is not eligible for preferential rate of interest. So question number 25. So here which is wrong? As per HO circular, which is not correct. So the declaration by the employee that money is deposited belong to the employee to be obtained, the form number is NF118. It is not NF115. So which is not correct? So in this question, point number B is not correct. The correct form number is 118. Why I am again writing the form number? Wherever in the circular the form numbers are there, the examiner has a tendency to ask for the form number also. So NF118. Okay. The format, there is a specimen of the format is given in this HO circular 92/24 also. Question number 26. The preferential interest rate for domestic term deposit payable. Please read the question in between, sir. It is useful for all of you in a day-to-day work. The preferential interest rate for domestic term deposit payable to the spouse who is a senior citizen. The spouse is a senior citizen. When you will give a preferential interest rate to the spouse of the employee or the spouse of the ex-employee, only you will give preferential interest only if the deposit is opened in the name of the spouse of a ex-deceased employee or deceased ex-employee. As long as the employee and ex-employee is alive, in the name of the spouse alone, we will not open any deposit and give prefer. We will open, but we will not give preferential rate of interest. Or jointly we may give. But if we want, that is the spouse alone to earn a preferential rate of interest, then she or he should be the deceased employee or deceased ex-employee spouse. Okay. So the preferential interest rate or domestic term deposits payable to a spouse who is a senior citizen. The spouse is a senior citizen here of the deceased employee, deceased ex-employees. So friends, again, I am repeating, only if the ex-employee senior citizen is alive, you will give 1.50% over and above the general public rate. If you have opened a deposit in the name of a spouse of a deceased employee or deceased ex-employee, even though the spouse is a senior citizen, the additional interest payable is only 1%. So question number 26, answer is B. So don't write here 1.50. Because in the real practical life also, in branch also, you give only 1%. So question number 2, because only if the employee is alive, he is eligible for senior citizen ex-employee rate 1.50. All other, they will get only 1%. Question number 26, answer is B. Question number 27. In respect of joint deposit with family members also, they are eligible, I told you, no? Question number 27, we'll see. In respect of joint deposit with family members of the employee, retired employee, the family includes. What do you mean by family? So spouse of the employee, spouse of the retired employee, other than legally separated spouse. So they are considered as they are considered as the family members. Then children, parents, brothers, and sisters of the employee or retired employee who are dependents on the employee or retired employee. So you should know when some ex-employee is coming, or when employees, generally ex-employees only this type of accounts we will open, or when you are opening for the employee also, when they say jointly with the family members, the first named person should be the employee. Okay, the jointly with the family members. Who are all the family members? So family members means spouse other than legally separated spouse, either employee or ex-employee. Then other family members, children, parents, brothers and sisters of the employee or retired employee who are dependents on the employee or retired employee. So in that case also, you can open and give additional preferential rate of interest, both A and B. So A is correct, B is also correct. Then dependents parents-in-law is also included. No, that is not included. The dependents only this one. So question number 27, answer is C. That is spouse other than legally separated spouse, and these persons who are dependent on the employee or retired employee are called family members. Along with them, the employee can open or ex-employee can open. You can give preferential rate of interest after obtaining enough unknown aid, stating that the money is deposited belongs to the employee or ex-employee only. Okay, question number 28. Which is correct with regard to additional interest on capital gains on term deposits? This question they asked once. Whether employees are there or you say general public is there. So who is eligible for additional interest for the capital? Senior citizens are there. Who is eligible for additional interest for the capital gains term deposit? So which is correct with regard to additional interest for capital gains deposit? Point number one person for employee and ex-employees. Point number B, 1.50 for senior citizen ex-employee, 0.50% for senior citizen general public for deposit of 180 days and above less than 3 crores. A to C all are correct. A to C none are correct. Sir, again I repeat, for a capital gains deposit, either SB or term deposit. What do you mean by capital gains deposit? So I am having a property. I am disposing the property today. So at the time of purchasing the property, I would have paid some cost. Today, I am selling the property. So I would have got some gain. So they will index. So they will index and say, what is the gain I have got today? So that is called the capital gain. So that capital gain, either you pay tax to the government or you invest in capital gains deposits with the banks for 3 years lock-in period. So during this lock-in period, you cannot use this deposit. Or government is introducing various bonds. There also you can invest for 3 years. The money cannot be taken out from that. That is called capital gains deposit. So capital gains deposit, whomsoever is depositing the capital gains, either employee or ex-employee or general public or senior citizen, whomsoever it is, no preferential rate of interest will be given to anybody. So which is correct? A to ABC, yeah, yes, ABC is there. Okay, C, it should D is there, and E. So which is correct? None of them are correct. None of them are correct. A to C, none are correct. Correct? No, A to C, none are correct because all are wrong. Nobody is eligible for preferential rate of interest. So question number 28, answer is E. Question number 29, find the odd man out. So in the question paper, wherever it is a negative question, these type of bold things will be there, which is not correct, which is an odd man, which is not an odd man. Okay, find the odd man out in respect of can tax saver deposit, which is not correct with regard to can tax saver deposit. I already explained to you. Period is 5 years and maximum amount in a financial year is only 1.50 lakhs. That is correct. As on date, the interest rate for general public as per HO Circular 97/24 is 6.70%. Correct. Senior citizen general public is eligible for additional 0.50%. Correct. Senior citizen ex-employees are eligible for 1.50% additional interest over above the interest to general public. That is not correct. Point number E. Employees, ex-employees are eligible for 1% additional interest over and above the interest for general public. That is also correct. Sir, with regard to that is Canada, there is can tax saver or Canada tax saver. So the guidelines are whether employee or ex-employee or senior citizen ex-employee, they are all of them are eligible only 1% preferential rate. The 1.5% preferential rate for ex-employee senior citizen is not applicable for Canada tax saver as well as capital gains or NRO, NRE, FCNR term deposits. So the 1.50 for ex-employee senior citizen is available only to a normal domestic term deposit, irrespective of the size, irrespective of the period of the deposit. So, so this is which is find out the question number 29. Find out the odd man out. The odd man out is that is D. Senior citizen ex-employees are eligible for only 1%. So, yeah, find the odd man out, which is wrong. For question number 29, answer is D. Question number 30. which is not correct with regard to penal interest. Okay, let us quickly go through. Sir, if you get this, you will get an idea. Because as I observed, whenever customer is coming and asking, sir, why this deposit lesser rate of interest? So penal interest is debited. So what is the penal interest, sir? We do not know. System does that. No, that looks something odd for us. We should not be like that. We should be learned bankers. Okay. Premature closure, interest guidelines. What is the interest rate guidelines for a prematurely closed deposit? Whether interest rate can be paid. So here I am telling only callable deposits can be paid before maturity. Non-callable deposit, non-callable bulk deposit cannot be closed before maturity. Yep, that should go in your mind. Only a callable deposit, either normal callable or that is bulk callable deposits only can be closed. Callable means what? So premature closure is permitted. Those deposits only can be permitted to be closed. Now, what is the guideline when a callable deposit is closed before maturity? When a bulk callable deposit is closed before maturity? What is the guideline? Whether any penal interest to be charged. So, for employees and ex-employees, any penal interest to be charged. So then we have before maturity closure and before maturity extension. Okay, in that case, whether it is permitted, we are going to see. I will explain to you because questions are different. It's come because this year for before maturity extension, they have removed the penalty class. We have removed the penalty class when HO circular has come. That is also in your deposit policy. So if you understand the two slides, any question you can answer over that. Okay. Premature closure is permitted for callable deposit only. It can be callable deposit or it can be callable bulk deposit. Okay. Domestic NRO, NRE deposits. So if these deposits are closed before maturity after accepting callable deposit, what is the guideline? If the deposit is less than rupees 3 crores, what do you mean by deposit less than 3 crores? Callable deposit. Less than 3 crores callable deposit. It is not callable bulk deposit. Deposit of less than rupees 3 crores accepted or renewed or extended on or after 12/3/2019, 1% penal cut was there. Now, if now the recent guideline says if the deposit is extended, there is no question of before maturity, sorry, prepayment penalty for these deposits. What do you mean by extension of deposit? Let us assume, so today I have opened a deposit for 6 months. I have opened a 6 months, so which is going to mature. We are in the month of October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So I opened a deposit for a period of 6 months. I have opened. Okay, for a period of 6 months. Okay, I opened a deposit. Now, after 1 month or 2 months, I am coming and telling, so extend the maturity of the deposit. That is February is the original maturity. I come and say extend the maturity of the deposit for the month of June. So today I am extending the deposit further. So that is why I do it, taking into account the change in the interest rate. So deposit first to open for 6 months. The maturity date comes in the month of February. After 2 months of the opening the deposit, depositor comes and says, extend the deposit so that the repayment comes beyond February. So when the new repayment period, maturity period comes beyond the original maturity rate, that is called the extending the deposit. Earlier, whenever a deposit is extended for the period run, it will get only a lesser 1% penal cut. As per recent guideline, for extended deposit, there is no question of prepayment penalty. Okay, so domestic NRO and NRE term deposit of less than 3 crores accepted or renewed. Forget about extended. I should not have put here extended. Accepted or renewed on or after 12/3/2019, 1% penal cut. So what do you mean by 1% penal cut? On what that 1% penal cut, we'll see. Those deposits will earn interest 1% below the rate as applicable for the relevant amount slab as ruling on the date of deposit and as applicable for the period run, or 1% below the rate at which the deposit has been accepted, whichever is lower. If you see the example, you will get. For example, deposit accepted for 5 years on 1/10/2022, 5 years. Premature closure is sought on 10/10/2023. That is, from 1/10/22, you have to see from the date of opening till the date of premature closure, what is the period run by the deposit. Deposit run for 1 year and 9 days. First, you have to find out when a depositor is coming and asking for a premature closure, you should find out what is the period that is the deposit has remained with you. So it is opened on 1/10/2022. Premature closure is called asked for 10/10/2023. Then on that day, deposit has run for 1 year and 9 days from the date of opening. So let us assume on the date of opening for 5 years, the interest rate was 7%. On 1/10/2022, for 5 years, the interest rate was 7%, let us assume. So on this date, on the date of opening, today you know what is the period is run. So on the date of opening, let us assume the rate of interest for more than 1 year and less than 2 years on 1/10/2022 is 8%. Why we have seen this? Because this period deposit is run for 1 year and 9 days. More than 1 year and less than 2 years on the day of opening, there is a slab, let us assume. So for the deposit run with you or period run with you on the date of acceptance of the deposit, what was the rate prevailing? 8%. Now, what rate you will apply on the premature closure deposit? The rate at which the deposit is accepted, the rate at which the deposit accepted, which is 7%, or the period for which the deposit has remained with the bank, and the rate applicable on the date of opening minus 1%, whichever is less, you will apply for the premature closure deposit. Here, acceptance date 7% for the 5 years. On the acceptance days for 1 year and less than 2 years, 8%. So between the two, you'll take the lesser interest. From there, you'll subtract 1%. So 7 minus 1, the deposit will earn only 6%. This is the way we should try to understand the concept and try to explain to the customer. So premature closure, if the deposit is prematurely closed, so on or after 1/12/3/2019, so 1% penal interest is charged on those deposits. This is the way of calculating the penal interest for the deposit. Only callable deposits can be closed before maturity. So deposit less than 3 crores. If it is above 3 crores, so if the deposit is above 3 crores, that is 3 crores and above, that is a bulk deposit. If the deposit is 3 crores and above, accepted or renewed after 12/3/2019, no penal cut. In that case, how the interest rate is charged, we will see. Example, accepted on 1/10/2022 for 3 years. Let us assume interest is 8% on that day for 3 years. Premature closure sought on 10/10/2023. Here again, I am telling bulk callable deposit only can be closed before maturity. Every time, whether non-callable, less than 3 crores or 3 crores and above, only callable deposits can be closed before maturity. Okay, so deposit, this is a bulk callable deposit. Deposit accepted on 1/10/2022. For 3 years, interest rate was 8%. Prematurity closure is so it has run with you for 1 year and 9 days. Interest for 1 year, 9 days is, let's assume, 7%. So here 8 or here 7. Earlier we applied 8. So between the two, we have taken the lesser one and applied minus 1%. So the party has got 6%. Here, there is no penal cut. You have to take between the two, which is less. That rate of interest you have to give for the period run on this premature closed deposit. That is the minus 1%. Between the two, whichever is less, minus 1% concept is not there. Between the two, whichever is less, the same rate you will give to the bulk callable deposit. Okay. If NRE term deposit closed, I told you FCNR deposit, NRE deposit, the minimum period is 1 year. If the NRE deposit or FCNR deposit is closed before 1 year, then no interest is payable on the FCNR deposits or NRE term deposit. Okay, no interest will be paid. If a domestic term deposit or NRO term deposit is closed before 7 days, no interest will be paid on that domestic or NRO term deposit. NRO deposits closed before maturity to be placed in NRE term deposit, no penal provisions. So NRO deposit closed before maturity to be placed in NRE term deposit, no penal provisions. Here one question they asked last time. What is the maximum amount of NRO money kept in the NRO deposits, either term deposits or fixed deposits, can be transferred to NRE term deposits of the customer or FCNR deposits of the customer in a financial year? What is the maximum? So you know that is when it comes to the forex class, we'll discuss the maximum amount from NRO you can transfer to the NRE maximum only 1 million US dollar or its equivalent in a financial year. Why they have fixed only 1 million? Because so domestic is from the NRO, the NRIs from their NRO accounts can repatriate abroad maximum 1 million US dollar in a financial year. Whereas from their NRE account and from their FCNR accounts, so they can transfer the entire money, whatever they are having in India. But if they are having in the NRO deposit, so they can repatriate abroad to a maximum 1 million US dollar one day. So from NRO account, maximum 1 million US dollar one day that can be transferred to NRE term deposit or NRESB. So if the NRO term deposit is closed before maturity for transferring the process to NRE term deposit, then there is no penal provision for the NRO term deposit. These are all the guidelines with regard to this one. Then penalty, third slide. 1% penalty for premature closure of capital gains term deposit, irrespective of the size of the deposit or amount. So, as regards the capital gains, no preferential interest for anybody, either for employee, ex-employee, or for senior citizen, general public, senior citizen, ex-employee, no preferential interest. So, when the capital gains is closed, 1% penal interest to be charged, irrespective of the size, irrespective of the period of the deposit, 1% penal interest. Whereas a bulk callable deposit, no penal interest. Bulk callable deposit, 1% penal interest. Deposits accepted after 12/3/2019. Coming to capital gains, 1% penal cut will be there on all the deposits. So whether it is before one date or after that day, size of the deposit, period of the deposit, you have to see what is the period for which it is accepted, what is the period you are going to close, what is the period it is run, whichever is between the two less you take, minus 1% you have to give. So this question they asked one. So people get a doubt whether for capital gains we have premature closure facility, whether penalty is there. Yes, it is there, irrespective of the size, irrespective of the period of the deposit. Then no pre-closure penalty for deposits of employees and ex-employees. How much we are benefited, you see. No pre-closure penalty for deposits of employees and ex-employees. These deposits will earn interest at the rate as applicable. Same thing. Example I will show. Uh, um, say so okay, these deposits will earn interest at the rate as applicable for the relevant amount of slab as ruling on the date of deposit and as applicable for the period run, or the rate at which the deposit has been accepted, whichever is lower, like your bulk callable deposit. Okay, the period it is accepted or the period it is run on the date of acceptance of the deposit for these two things. What is the rate? Without any, whichever is less you take, without any penal cut, you can give to the employee or ex-employee. That means for the ex-employee or employee, if the premature closure of the deposit takes place, there is no question of penal charges. Then coming to when the depositor dies, you are closing the deposit in CAM 12 or 9 or something, you are making the death of the depositor, you are settling the death claim. Whether that is any penal charges to be recovered from in those cases. When the depositor dies, in the case of premature withdrawal, interest will be paid at the applicable rate with reference to the period for which the deposit has remained with the bank on the date of acceptance of deposit without charging penalty. Let us assume, as in the previous case, I have given an example, you see. 1/10/2022, for 5 years, a deposit is accepted at 8%. Pre-closure after 1 year, 99 days, because the depositor has died. Pre-closure after 1 year and 9 days. Interest for more than 1 year and less than 2 years, it is 7%. So again, like the employee's case, you have to take on the date of acceptance what it is, then for the period run what it is. So between the two, whichever is less, you have to apply for the premature closure. So where penal cut is not available, employees and ex-employees. Then deceased depositor. In that case, also penal interest is not there. In the case of the other one, also there is no penal interest cut was there, no bulk callable deposit. So in all these three cases, you see what is the period rent, what was the rate available on that time. What is the rate at which the deposit is accepted? Between the two, for the less of the one, you give interest for the period run. In the case of this callable deposit, which is less than 3 crores, between the one, whichever is less, minus 1%, you will extend to the deposit. Okay, sir, good. Now, if the FCNR deposit is closed, so these things are applicable for NRE, NRO, and domestic term deposit. In the case of NRE, if it is closed before 1 year, no interest will be paid. Okay. Now coming to FCNR, whether that is very pre-closure charges are there. Here you have to see FCNR. So again, as I told you, if it is closed before 1 year, there is no rate, no preferential rate of interest will be given to the, sorry, no interest will be given to the deposit if it is closed before 1 year, like NRE term deposit. So any penal interest is there, they are classified into deposits opened before 19/11/2021 and deposits opened subsequent to 19/11/2021. What the guideline says. The rate of interest payable on such prematurely closed deposit shall be 1% less than the stipulated rate of interest applicable to FCNR deposit for the period run as ruling on the date of deposit. If the applicable rate of interest for the period run is less than 1%, no interest will be paid on the premature closure. Here, whichever less is not there, you see. So, but on the date of acceptance of the deposit, what was the rate for the deposit rate and what was the rate for the period run? So, you did not see what was the deposit rate at all. What is the rate? The days premature deposit shall be 1% less than the stipulated rate of interest applicable for the period for the deposit is run as ruling on the deposit, on the acceptance of the deposit. You accepted the deposit on 1/10/2022 for 5 years. What is the rate of interest? You don't worry. When you are closing 1 year, 9 months. After 1 year, 9 months, what was the rate prevailing there? Minus 1% straight away. That is for the deposits opened before 19/11/2021. So as on those time, interest rate for FCNR deposits were less than 1% also. So suppose rate, suppose let's assume the rate of interest is 0.90%, minus 1% if you put, so minus 0.10% will come. So if the rate of interest is less than 1% for at the time of acceptance of the deposit, then you will not give any interest at all for the deposit, even though it has run for more than 1 year. Accepted on or after 19/11/2021, what is the guideline? Rate of interest payable on such premature closed deposit shall be the rate of applicable to FCNR deposit for the period run ruling on the date of deposit or the date of seeking premature withdrawal, whichever is lower. Here, there is no minus 1%. What you have to see on the date for the period of run with you on the date of acceptance, what is the rate you have to see. Then on the date of closure for the period run, what is the rate you have to see. At that time, there is one rate, no, there is a change rate is there, is the rate. Between the two, whichever is less, you will extend on the prematurely closed deposits. FCNR deposit can be converted into RFC deposits upon NRI returns to India for permanent settlement without penalty provision. Again, I repeat, if NRO term deposit are closed and the proceeds are to be invested in NRE term deposit, no premature penalty for that NRO term deposit. Similarly, if the FCNR deposit is to be converted into RFC deposits upon NRI returns to permanently to India, so when they are going to close, the no penalty provisions are applicable to the FCNR deposit. Quickly, let us go through, sir. Quickly, let us go through. I have given only one question I have given. Question number 30, if I am correct. Question number 30, which is not correct with regard to penal interest. Penalty of 1% for premature closure or part withdrawal. I am telling that is premature extension, no more penalty. That for till last year, when somebody went for the exam, for premature extension also penalty was there. Now for the premature extension, the penalty was there, but is not there. What is premature extension? I already told you. Okay, which is not correct with regard to penal interest. Penalty is 1% for pre-closure or part withdrawal of domestic NRO and NRE callable term deposit of less than 3 crores accepted on or after 12/3/2019. Correct. Callable less than 3 crores is applicable for penalty of 1% accepted after 12/3/2019. Correct. No penalty. Question number 30. No penalty for premature extension of domestic NRO and NRE callable term deposit of less than 3 crores, where the extension is for a longer period than the originally agreed period. Correct. No penalty. Okay. For NRE, if extended before 1 year, no interest is payable. Okay, there is always that. If a NRE deposit, if it is extended, so you open the deposit today, after six, it should be minimum 1 year. So after 6 months, he comes and says, extend the deposit. It was with you for 6 months, no? For that, you will not pay any interest. So there is no interest. Okay. So point number B is also correct. Point number C, no penalty for pre-closure, part withdrawal, and okay, this we already see. Okay, sorry. Point number C, no penalty for premature part withdrawal. So premature extension, it is always there, that is removed of domestic NRO and NRE callable bulk deposit of 3 crores and above accepted on or after 12/3/2019. Correct. So for which no premature penalty is there, you tell me. So for employees and ex-employees, it is not there. And then for your, what do you say, bulk callable deposit, when premature closure takes place, there is no penal interest is also there. No, so point number D is also correct. Point number C. Sorry, point number D. No interest for pre-closure, part withdrawal, and premature extension of domestic and NRO term deposit for the period run before completion of 7 days. That is also correct. So, which is not correct? All the points given here are available in your deposit policy. Question number 30, answer is E. Question number 30, answer is E. Question number 31. Capital gains deposit will attract a penalty of dash percent for premature closure, irrespective of the size of the deposit. 1% is a capital gains, 1%. That is penalty is be there, irrespective of the size and the period of the deposit. Okay, 1%. Question number 31, answer is A. Question number 32. 1 minute. Okay, 1 hour is only there. Question number 32. Auto renewal is not available for which type of deposit? Okay, so auto renewal. Canara tax saver, yes, auto renewal is not available. Capital gains, yes, auto renewal is not available. Non-callable deposit, auto renewal is not available. KYC non-complied account, auto renewal is not available. Canara Khazana Samiridhi, Canara Sikar, Canara Unique, for them also no auto renewal. They are all closed. The special deposits, already the scheme has been discontinued. For them also, there is no auto renewal. Canara Amrit 75. So the scheme is already closed. For that also, no auto renewal. 666-day deposit and 400 days deposit. Last 2 years back, we accepted the deposit. For them also, there is no auto renewal. Okay. So auto renewal is not available for which type of deposits. For all these types of deposits, auto renewal. Which is 1, 2, what is that 2? So your options are 1 to 4, 1 to 6 all, 1 to that is question number 32. Okay, 1 to 6 all. Yes, 1 to 6 all. For all of them, no auto renewal facilities available. So for question number 32, answer is B. So this is given in your deposit rate, interest rate circular. In your term deposit manual, one more also they have put, which is not automatically eligible for renewal. So they have put that encumbered deposit. So I'm not able to understand what is that. But in the term deposit manual in Canara Bank, the term deposit manual is updated till 31/3/2020 only. Afterwards, updation is yet to come. Maybe once in 5 years they'll be doing it. There it is put. Encumbered deposits are also not eligible for automatic renewal. Suppose by chance if the examiner asks that point comes, that is also not eligible for automatic renewal. Keep that in mind. So 1 to 6 all are correct. Question number 32, answer is B. Question number 33. What is the interest rate payable on overdue NRE deposit with effect from July 2021? So here two differences there. I will explain. That is why I put the question specifically there. SB interest or the contracted interest rate of the matured NRD deposit, whichever is less, from the date of maturity till the date of payment. SB interest from the date of maturity till the date of payment. So either A or B. D, none of these. Now, when the interest payable for overdue deposits will arise. So all deposits are renewed automatically. NRE and FCNR deposits are renewed automatically only once. So second time it cannot be automatically renewed. So you have to ensure that the status of the person continues to be NRI. Whatever to be done after you do it only, you can renew the deposit. Again, I repeat, as per the guidelines in procedure, as per the guidelines given by FEMA, as per the guidelines given by RBI, NRI deposits, that is cannot be automatically renewed for more than once because the status of the NRA to be assured for the second time onwards. Okay, now when the concept of overdue deposit will come, what do you mean by overdue deposit, particularly for the youngsters? What do you mean by the overdue deposit? So deposits, not if take a domestic deposit. Domestic term deposit is automatic renewal facilities available. So I am coming to you and asking you to open a deposit for 1 year. You're opening. At that time, telling, I don't want automatic renewal facility. Suppose if I give you a specific instruction, I do not want automatic renewal facility. In CBS, there is an option is there, drop down menu. You choose it and select non-automatic renewal. So on the date of maturity, it will not be renewed automatically. So then it will not remain in the deposit in the term in the KDR or FDR head also. In that SL head also, it will not stay. Automatically on the maturity date, the system will take it to a head called overdue term deposit. So the overdue term deposit, one separate SL head will be there. So the deposit will go and stand there. That is, the deposit is not automatically renewed. Okay, so I have a domestic term deposit. I gave you instruction for non-automatic renewal, or these deposits are also non-automatic renewal, no? So these special deposits, when they are matured, where they will go? Panara can tax where? After 5 years, you cannot renew it automatically. So where it will go? It has to go to a SL head called overdue term deposit. There it will go and sit there. Now, after, let us assume I have a domestic term deposit. I have given non-automatic renewal. So it went and sat in the on the due date. I have not come on the due date. On the due date, it went and sat in the overdue deposit head. After 1 month, I am coming. I am 1 month, I am coming. Sir, this deposit receipt, I want the money. Please give me the money. So the deposit receipt, if you see the maturity process is available, the maturity process is available after TDS. If he is eligible for TDS, after TDS, this is a maturity process. On the maturity process of the deposit, for that 1 month, you have to give interest to the depositor. So on the maturity process of the deposit, after one month I am giving. If it is FDR, maturity process will be the same amount. If it is a KDR or RD, maturity process will be along with interest. So on the maturity process which has gone to the overdue deposit, bank has to give interest to the depositor. What interest bank is expected to give to the depositor for the overdue period which the deposit remained with the bank? Here only we have to distinguish between domestic term deposit and NRE term deposit. If it is domestic term deposit, what interest you will give? You will give for the 30 days, 1 month it remained with the bank. You have to see during the period of the 1 month, what is the interest rate for SB? You have to see one. Then second thing you have to see what is the interest for which the domestic term deposit which has gone to overdue today is accepted. So what you have to see when you are what the system you may not be seeing what the system says for the overdue period which remained with you. So we have to see what is the prevailing SB interest rate. Then you have to see that let us assume the deposit you accepted from for 1 year from me, no? On the date of acceptance deposit for 1 year, what is the overdue, that is the matured deposit, what is the rate at which the matured deposit was accepted? Let us assume the matured deposit was accepted at 7%. Let us assume the FB interest is 2.50. So whichever is less, you have to give for the 30 days for the overdue term deposit. So if it is domestic term deposit for the overdue period, you will give that is the SB interest, prevailing SB interest, or the rate at which the deposit was accepted. Between the two, whichever is less, you will pay for the overdue period. If it is NRE term deposit matured and it has gone to overdue, there may be many reasons. If the NRE deposit is matured and if it has gone to overdue, what interest you will give for the overdue period, it remained with you. There, the interest you will give is as applicable to SB deposit only. You will not compare what is the contract rate and SB, whichever is less. Here for NRE deposit, you will see the SB interest prevailing. For that SB interest only, for the overdue period, you will give the interest. So this guideline has come from July 22nd, 2021. So what interest rate is payable on overdue NRE deposit with effect from July 2nd, 2021? SB interest rate or the contracted interest rate on the matured NRE deposit, whichever is less, from the date of maturity till the date of payment. No, that is not that. That is only for domestic term deposit. SB interest rate from the date of maturity till the date of payment. Yes, that is correct. So for question number 33, answer is B. So please understand, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, domestic term deposits overdue, NRE term deposit overdue. For the overdue period, what you will give the interest to the overdue period. Now, other points in the deposit policy of the bank, which is not correct with regard to SB deposit. So when they not mention anything about the RBI guideline, that means the guidelines prevalent in Canara Bank. Okay, so which is not correct with regard to SB deposit. These questions which I have made from 35 to another 60, another 15, 20 questions is mainly looked in from your deposit policy of the bank. Okay, which is not correct with regard to SB deposit. Service charges will be collected if the number of withdrawals including alternate channel debits, exceeds 50 per every half-year period. If the OVD, that is officially valued document, does not contain updated interest, utility bill not more than 2 months old from any service provider can be accepted, and the customer to provide updated OVD with the current address within 3 months of submitting the initial documents for opening the account. Correct. Minimum amount of withdrawal but deposit is rupees 10. That is also correct. All are correct. So not all are correct. A is wrong. What is A? A is service charges will be collected if the number of withdrawals excluding alternate bank channels. So not I put here including. In your deposit policy, it is put excluding. If it exceeds 50 per half year, appropriate service charges will be recovered. So why I have given all the, they may ask you the question, if the OVD is not contains the updated address, so what you have to get, and it should not be more than 2 months old. So after you get the OVD which is not than 2 months old, within how many months he has to give the updated OVD with the permanent interest within 3 months. So these questions will be there. That is why everything I have covered there. So what is the minimum and maximum amount of deposit? Maybe 10 rupees 10. That is also all of us may be knowing, then all are correct. So which is not correct? No question which is not correct. Sorry, A is not correct because in the A, it should be excluding alternate banking channel. Excluding that, you calculate if it is more than 50, you collect the service charges. Otherwise, there is no need. Question number 35. Which one of the following is not eligible to open SB account and get interest as per the deposit policy of 2024-25? So this is an RBI guideline. Our bank is also implementing the RBI guideline. This question has come year before last. Okay, let's quickly go through the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Organizations eligible to open SB account and get interest besides individuals and non-trading HUF. So individuals can open SB account and they can get interest. Then non-trading HUF. So if the HUF is not involving in trading, then they can open SB account and they can earn interest also. Here I want to ask you one question, whether the Karta of an HUF is a senior citizen. Let us assume the Karta of an HUF is a senior citizen. So the Karta is opening a term deposit, domestic term deposit in the name of the HUF, where for which he is the Karta and he is the senior citizen. Whether the HUF deposit will get additional interest of 0.50% for the term deposit if he has invested for more than 180 days, less than 3 crores. No. So even though the Karta is a senior citizen, the HUF deposit will not get any additional senior citizen eligibility. only if the Karta is opening in his name as an individual capacity, and if he's a senior citizen, if the deposit is more than 180 days and less than 3 crores, he will get 0.50%. Okay, that question they once they asked. So when I get the HUF, so even though Karta is a senior citizen, deposits opened in the name of the HUF where the senior citizen is a Karta, those HUF deposits will not fetch additional 0.50% interest. Okay, that I want to drive home here. Okay. So which are all the, so besides individuals and non-trading HUF, these people are also eligible to open SB account and get interest. Who are they? Primary Cooperative Credit Society, which is being financed by the bank. Khadi and Village Industries Boards, Agriculture Produce Market. So you see, Primary Cooperative Credit Society, which is being financed by the bank. If it is financed by the bank only, it is eligible. So you have to read between the line. Khadi and Village Industries Boards, Agriculture Produce Market Committees, societies registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860. Companies are also eligible to open SB account and earn interest. This point only has come in that. So people have told that they are not eligible. They are eligible provided certain conditions. So that is why I told you have to read in between the line. Companies licensed by the central government under Section 18 of the Companies Act 2013 or Section 25 of the Companies Act 1956 or under the corresponding provision in the Indian Companies Act 1913 and are permitted not to add to their names the word limited or the words private limited. Okay, so if they are permitted not to add their names to against their company's name, either limited or private limited, these companies are also eligible to open SB account and get interest. So people have told this is wrong. In that option, they are told this is wrong. No, friends, please understand. Then institutions other than those mentioned in section 28H and whose entire income is exempt from the payment of the income tax under Income Tax Act 1961. So, which are exempted under Section 28, other than mentioned in Section 28H, and which are eligible for complete exemption, they are also eligible to open SB account and get interest. Government departments, bodies, agencies in respect of grants, subsidies released for implementation of various programs, schemes sponsored by central government, state government, subject to production of an authorization from the respective central state government departments to open SB account for them. Then development of women and children in rural areas, DWCRA. Self-help groups, registered or unregistered, which are engaged in promoting savings habits among their members. Yesterday we saw the incentives available to SHG for opening the account, for credit linkage, etc., etc. BCAs we have seen. Please go through the questions or at least that circular. So questions will definitely come. So they are also eligible to open SB account. Farmers Club, because volunteer, Vagini, Triple V, they are also eligible to open an SB account and get interest. So please here you should understand that that is 2 points you should understand. There is primary cooperative societies financed by the bank, and then companies not allowed to add against their name limited or non-unlimited. And then one more point, institutions other than those mentioned in section 28H. So this section 28, did they ask no? The institutions which are mentioned other than mentioned under section so and so and eligible to complete exam are eligible to get an ASB interest. So 28H is the new section. Earlier there was some other section. So last 2 years the section underwent a change. That is why. So there is a purpose for me whenever I am mentioning the figures here. There is a purpose for me. So because questions may come from that, that is why I am requesting you people, please go through the PowerPoint. If you don't have time to go through the circular, at least go through the PowerPoint presentation, understand the concepts, then answer the questions. You will answer all the questions. Okay, sir. Now let's see the question paper now. Okay, question number 35. Which one of the following is not eligible to open SB account and get interest as per deposit policy 24-25 of the bank? Khadi and Village Industries Board, yes, they are permitted. Societies registered under Societies Registration Act, yes, they are permitted. Companies under Indian Companies Act and permitted not to add to their names limited or private limited, yes, permitted. Institutions whose entire income is exempt from payment of income tax as per Income Tax Act 1961, yes, that is permitted. Agriculture produce committees, yes, that is permitted. Political parties. Political parties, they are not permitted to open SB account and earn interest. Companies are eligible. So they are given option A, 3, B, B4, like that. So answer is political parties. E, they are not permitted. So answer should be E. For question number 35, answer is E. Political parties are not permitted to open. Question number 35, answer is E. That is point number 6. Then question number 36, which is not correct with regard to joint deposits. Let's quickly go through the presentation. You will understand. Okay, organizations. We have seen joint deposit. No restrictions in number of joint depositors. Earlier in Canara Bank, 2 years back, so a joint depositor maximum there can be only 4 joint depositors. If you want to add more than 4, it is told earlier you have to get permission from a section in Circle Office called the MIPD section. Now they call it as resources section or something like that. So you have to get a permission. Now that has been removed because the Reserve Bank of India has not given any restriction what should be the maximum number of joint depositors in a deposit account. So Canara Bank also has removed, there are no restrictions in number of joint depositors in a deposit account. Additions, deletions, and substitutions of depositors name is possible with the condition that one of the original depositor to continue as depositor till the closure of the deposit. That is the only condition. If 3 people joined and opened a deposit, at least one of them should continue to be the depositor till the deposit is closed. So one can go, one can come, etc. Whatever it is, but one of the depositor should continue to, he should never go out of the deposit. He should continue to be the depositor till the deposit is closed. Capital gains deposit, public provident fund, Suganya Samriddhi account scheme, Mahila Saman saving certificate. In these cases, no joint deposit is permitted. So capital gains. So other things are the small saving scheme. Coming to the deposit scheme in our bank, for capital gains deposit, no joint deposit is permitted. In the case of a Canara tax saver, the maximum joint deposit is only 2. Then senior citizen saving scheme. This is also a government of India's small saving scheme. The maximum joint depositors can be 2. The second depositor should be with the spouse only. It cannot be other than the spouse. Okay. Now, let us quickly go through it. Let us quickly go through the question. You'll be able to understand. Which is not correct with regard to joint deposits. Question number 36. No restrictions in the number of joint deposit holders, correct? Deletion of the first named depositor is not permitted till the deposit is closed, that is wrong. So all of us or some of us are having the notion that when a deposit is in the name of Mr. A and Mr. B, Mr. A's name should not be deleted at all. So maybe in the CBS you may not be able to get or not, I do not know. Maybe with somebody's permission you may be able to delete. So there is no question of that is number one depositor. If they open, he should not be removed from the deposit at all. If you have that notion, please remove it from your mind. So if 3 people have opened a deposit, at least one of them, A, B, C. So A is number 1, B is number 2, C is number 3. Let's assume A, B goes away. So if A, B goes away, C should continue to be the depositor. There is no question of number one depositor cannot be removed or he cannot go. You cannot delete. No such questions are, which is not correct with regard to joint deposit. No restrictions in the number of joint depositors. Deletions of the first name deposit is not permitted till the deposit is closed. That is wrong. Maximum joint depositors in Canara tax saver is only 2. That is correct. Capital gain joint deposit not permitted. That is correct. None of these. So the question number 36 answer is B. So which is not correct? Question number 36, answer is B. Question number 37, which is correct with regard to joint deposits of NRI? So this is normal joint deposits of NRIs. So my question is, there is an NRI. Whether with that NRI is having SB account or NRI is having an NRO account, is having an FCNR or is he having an NRE? Whether a resident Indian can join a joint depositor with that NRI as a joint depositor. Or I am having a deposit, domestic deposit. So SB deposit. My son is an NRI. Whether with the domestic deposit, the NRI can join as a joint depositor. In both the cases, it is not possible. So what the guidelines say, that also we should see. Okay. So NRE, NRO, FCNR, EFC, RFC, etc., jointly with a resident. So you're opening the deposit jointly with a resident. NRIs are permitted to open NRE, FCNR, NRO with whom they are permitted to open. Resident I am telling. With another NRI, he can open, no problem, no restriction. With a resident, if he wants, NRI wants to open a joint deposit account with a resident who is in India, he is not a non-resident, the other person is not a non-resident, then what condition says? NRIs are permitted to open NRE, FCNR, NRO with a resident close relative. So the joint depositor resident should be a close relative of the NRI. Where the close relative is defined, not in your, what do you say, in your credit policy or retail lending policy, etc. The close relative as defined in Companies Act 2013. And what is the condition? It should be farmer or survivor basis only. And number one should be the NRI. So the condition is in NRI's deposits, residents can join as a joint depositor provided the resident is the close relative of the NRI as defined in the Indian Companies Act 2013 is the amendment or whatever it is. So what is the condition? Farmer or survivor. Farmer is number one is the NRI and the survivor is the residents. Money belonging to the resident account holder cannot be credited in this account. Only NRI's money can be credited. Resident close relative can operate the account as per power of attorney. That is, the resident joint account, whether he can operate if it is an SB account, resident who is a joint account, to operate the account, the NRI should give a power of attorney because the condition is farmer or survivor. What do you mean by farmer or survivor? As long as number one is alive, he only should operate the account. Survivor cannot operate the account. But here, in this case, if the NRA gives power of attorney or mandate for the survivor, then he can operate this account. So, resident close relative can operate the account as per the power of attorney or mandate given by the NRI. If the resident becomes the sole account holder at a later date, it becomes a resident account. For example, number one is NRI, but for some reason, if NRI dies, is not available, so the resident becomes the sole account holder at a later date, it will be converted as a normal domestic SB deposit or normal domestic term deposit. On the other hand, other possibility, resident bank account, joint holding with NRI. I am a resident. Whether in my resident SB account, that is triple one is my product code, or 101 is my product code, whether I can join an NRI as a joint account holder. Yes, you can join. Again, the NRI should be the close relative of mine as defined in the Companies Act 2013. In a resident account, NRI, that is close relative of the resident, as defined in the Companies Act 2013, can be joined as a joint account holder on either or survivor basis, that farmer or survivor. Here you see, I am making a NRA to join in my account, either or survivor. Any one of them, either I can operate the account or NRA can operate the account. So that if a resident wants to operate the account, there should be a specific power of attorney from the NRI. Here, anybody can operate the account. Okay, either or survivor be subject to. Resident will be number one. So resident, so I am the number one. So it is treated as a resident account for all purposes. Check, cash, instruments, remittances, etc. belonging to NRI cannot be credited in this account. There, money belonging to the resident cannot be credited. Here, money belonging to NRI cannot be credited. NRI close relative will operate for domestic payment only. You see, either or survivor. So either I can operate the account or NRA can operate the account. So there, either it is farmer or survivor, only NRI can operate. If NRI wants, he can give the power of attorney to the resident. Here, either or survivor, both of them can operate, but there is a condition for operation by the NRI. NRI can operate the account only for domestic payments only. If the NRI becomes survivor, for example, if the resident is number one, no resident dies. If the NRI becomes a survivor, the account will be designated as NRO account. So here resident dies, the NRI becomes the account holder. In that case, it will be considered as the converted into NRO account. There, if there is resident dies, if the NRI dies, the resident will become an account holder. It is a normal domestic SB account. Here it will become an NRO SB account. Okay, sir. Then quickly we'll go through. You'll be able to understand. So, which is correct with regard to question number 37? Which is correct with regard to joint deposits of NRIs? Please read. NRIs are permitted to open NRE, FCN, or NRO with a resident close relative as defined in Companies Act 2013. NRIs are permitted to open on farmer or survivor basis. Number one is NRI. That is correct. In a resident account, NRI close relative of resident as defined in Companies Act 2013 can be a joint account holder on either or survivor basis with resident being number one. Correct. First is farmer or survivor. Second is either or survivor. This only again and again they are asking. So which is either or survivor, which is farmer or survivor. That only again and again asking. Please go through once. Okay, that is also correct. C. A is correct and B is not correct. D, both are not correct. E, both are correct. So question number 37, both A and B are correct. So your answer should be E for question number 37. So for question number 37, answer should be E. Question number 38. What type of SB account to be opened for foreign student who has to come to India for studies? Are here foreign students who have come to India for studies, foreign tourists who have come to India for a short period, or a foreigner who has come to India for employment, then BSBD account, small SB account. From there, definitely questions are appearing, whichever may be the cadre. Okay, that is why everything by means of a PowerPoint presentation, one simple question and PowerPoint presentation I have made. I will quickly go through it. These things are in the deposit policy of Canara Bank. What type of SB accounts to be opened for foreign student who has to come to India for studies? You already may be knowing. Again, we'll recapture it. Okay. Accounts of foreign students who have to come to India for study. As per FEMA, they are called as NRIs. So they can open only NRO SB account. They can open only NRO SB account. So they should have a valid visa, passport, then valid visa and immigration endorsement. What is immigration endorsement? The moment they enter into India at the immigration counter in the airport or the ship or whatever it is in the dock, so the immigration authorities will put the chopper the day in which they are entering into India, and that is they called immigration endorsement. So they should have a valid passport, they should have a valid visa, and then they should have an immigration endorsement. So they are eligible for open NROSP. Letter of the college as proof of admission should be in place. Then proof for local address. So they should also give where they are going to stay in India during the when they are opening the account. If they are not able to give a proof of local address, they have to give an undertaking that local address will be provided within 30 days. Within 30 days of opening the account, they will say they will give the local address proof to be obtained and verified by the bank officials within 30 days. Bank officials have to follow up and get within 30 days and update in the CBS, whichever may be the fast path for you. So, if pending more than 30 days is over, or within 30 days, they are yet to give the local address proof, whether you can permit the credits or debits in the account. Pending verification of the address, foreign remittance not to exceed US dollar 1,000 or its equivalent only can be credited in this account. Foreign remittance equivalent to 1,000 US dollar only or its equivalent only can be credited in this account pending verification of the local address by the bank officials. Withdrawal not to exceed 50,000 during the 30 days. During the first 30 days, withdrawal. So after 30 days, without this, you should not permit to operate the account. Students with Pakistani nationality will need prior approval of RBI for opening the account. sorry, earlier, students of Bangladesh nationality also to get a prior permission from RBI. 2 3 years back that has been discontinued, and students with Pakistani nationality will need prior approval of RBI for opening the account. Okay, sir. So foreign students visiting, sir, coming to India for study, this is the thing. The two crux of the thing which they are frequently asking, within how many days they have to give the local address proof. If they are not giving within the 30 days, what is the condition? How much credit, how much debit can be there? So in Bangladesh, there is a Pakistani national. Anybody has to get prior, all other things, you will not get prior approval. Anybody's prior approval is required, that is that. So the question is, what type of SB account to be opened for foreign student who has to come to India for studies? NRO SB. Okay, sir. All other things I have shown in the slide. What is the maximum period for which SB account can be opened by a foreign tourist visiting India? So foreign tourist. So he is a foreigner. In no way he is connected to India. He comes to India to sightseeing. So I have come to Germany, no? Like that, he has come to India for some sightseeing or tourist purpose. So what account you will open? Any maximum period of the account is there. When he wants to leave India, whether you close the money and give to him, all those things we will see. So for him also, foreign tourist visiting India also, we will open NRO SB account only. The maximum period for which you will open is maximum for 6 months or the unexpired period of the visa, whichever is less. So maximum, so in the visa, suppose when he is coming today, let us assume to open an account, the visa is only valid for 3 months. Let's assume the visa authority has given only 3 months. You cannot open for 6 months. You have to ask for the passport or visa, whatever it is. What is the validity of the visa you have to see? So they can, if the visa is for 1 year, then also you can open only for a maximum 6 months. So foreign tourists visiting India, maximum 6 months, or the validity of visa that I have forgotten to mention here, validity of the visa, whichever is less. No local credits are permitted in this NRO account. No local, because in the normal NRO account, local credits are permitted. But here, he is a foreign tourist. Where is the question of getting a local money for him in India? So no local credits are permitted. While leaving India, funds in the account can be repatriated. If any local credit, suppose by chance there is a local credit in that account, or if the period exceeds 3 months or beyond the visa given period, let's assume in that case, you cannot repatriate the money in this account without getting RBI's prior permission. So, if there are no local credits and if the account is within the validity period, you can repatriate when he leaves India. But on the other hand, if there are some local credits or notice in the account at the time of closing and repatriating the funds, or the account is open beyond 6 months or beyond the validity date, in that case, you have to get prior permission of Reserve Bank of India for repatriation. Then suppose he is using you, let us he is open an NROSB, you are given a debit card to him. So he is used the debit card withdrawal of money from ATM. So before leaving India, he is having some cash with him, which he has withdrawn from the ATM. Whether so those money can be repatriated. Here it is told money, the deposit, the account can be repatriated. Balance of cash drawn from a ATM or through a branch. You would have withdrawn the cash from the branch after depositing the money can also be repatriated with the condition that so the, suppose if he is having a cash with him or if he has withdrawn cash from the branch either through ATM or branch, then that money is also permitted to be repatriated when the foreign tourist is leaving the India, subject to two conditions. One, bank to satisfy that the money is withdrawn from the ATM, or bank has to satisfy the money is withdrawn from the bank branch only. He should not have got the cash from somebody else in India. Then he should hold a return ticket, hold a ticket for travel out of India within next 7 days. He should give a proof to you. Up to 50,000 rupees only maximum that can be repatriated in this method. So accounts can be repatriated. So if the more than 6 months and local credits are notice prior permission of RBI, if he is having some cash in his hand which he has withdrawn through the ATM or through the branch, so in that case, that money also can be with repatriated, subject to the condition bank has to satisfy, and then he should have a ticket to leave out of India within the next 7 days. and the maximum repatriation is permitted only 50,000 rupees. So any question will be coming, sir. These things are available in your remittances manual. It is not there in the deposit policy. It is the remittances forex manual. These things are there. Okay, quickly let us go through it. Yeah, question number 40. A foreign national who has come to India for employment, what is the maximum period for which SB account can be opened by a foreign tourist visiting India? Maximum 6 months or the validity of visa, whichever is less. That is the correct option. I have not given the option. I want to save the time. Then a foreign national who has come to India for employment. For example, you are having the US embassy or German embassy. There, the embassy officials, the top level officials will be from abroad, from their home country. So the embassy officials he is a foreign national. In no way he is connected to India. So he has come to India for employment. He has come to India for employment. What type of SB account he can open in India when he comes for employment? When he comes for employment in India, the employer will give his salary only in Indian rupees. They will not give in foreign currency. They will give, for example, when we people are deputed abroad by Canara Bank for foreign posting, we will get that is salary in there. So only in our foreign currency or whatever, whichever currency. Similarly, when they are coming to India, they will get the salary in Indian rupees. When a foreign national has come to India for employment, what account you will open? You will open only normal domestic SB account, product code 101. So for tourist, NRO, for student studying a foreign student, NRO, foreign national who has come to India, you will open one normal SB, domestic SB account, product code 101. Okay, then question number 41. Canara Basic Savings Bank Deposit Account is a fully KYC compliant account, true or false? So friends, BSBD account is a fully KYC compliant account. So only Canara small savings bank account only is not a fully KYC compliant account. So BSBD account product code, if I am correct, it should be 108. 108. It is a fully KYC compliant account like any other account, but with certain free things are there, certain charges are not there. Let us see. Basic savings bank deposit account. It is a fully KYC compliant account. Yes, it is a fully KYC compliant account. No doubt on that. No minimum balance. So there is no question now. Here you have an advantage by opening the BSBD. No minimum balance. Following facilities free of charge to be provided. The deposit of cash at bank branches as well as ATMs and cash deposit machines. So we charge something, no, in a month if more than this much cash is deposited, the account holder charges are debited, etc., etc. Those things are not there for the BSBD account holders. Receipt for credit of money through electronic payment channels or by means of deposit collection of checks drawn by central state government agencies and departments. If these things are deposited in the account, you should not charge anything to the basic savings bank deposit account holders. No limit on the number and value of deposits that can be made in a month. Any amount of deposits they can make. So any number of deposits they can make. No restrictions. I told you it's a fully KOC compliant account. But there are certain restrictions on withdrawal. 4 withdrawals in a month, including ATM withdrawals, is only permitted. So 4 withdrawals, including ATM withdrawals in a month, it is permitted. So the 4 withdrawal means, per month 4 means in a year, there are 12 months are there. Maximum checkbook, if you want to give, you can give free of cost. Maximum check leaves 50 leaves. Whereas for others, at normal, you forget about the special accounts. So for the normal account holders, you will give only 25 check leaves or something in a calendar year. For the BSBD, free of charge. So for the BSBD account holders, you can give maximum 50 check leaves free of cost in a year. So that is withdrawals through ATM, and 4 withdrawals in a month through ATM is free of charge. And then you can give maximum 50 with check leaves free of cost to the BSBD account holders. So ATM card and ATM debit card, free of charge it is issued. No renewal charges to the BSBD account holders. No charge will be debited for non-operation, activation of inoperative BSBD account. There are no charges for them. any other SB account with the bank if they are having before opening the BSBD account to be closed within 30 days from the date of opening the BSBD account. Declaration from the customer that he does not have any other BSBD account with any other bank in India to be obtained. Any other facility. So these are all the free of cost to be given to the BSBD account holders. If bank wants to give any other facility, furthermore free of cost, bank can give free of cost. Or if the bank wants to charge more than the minimum free of charge, bank can also charge. No restriction on that. But these are all the things, minimum things you have to give to the BSBD account holder. Let's quickly see the question. Any question is there on that? Yes. Canara Basic Savings Deposit Account is a fully KYC compliant account. Yes, sir. It is true. The features of the scheme also, account also I have given. What type of SB account? So the product code for BSBD, if I am correct, it is 108. And the product code for Canara Small Savings Bank account, if I am correct, it is 127. If I am correct. Okay. If I am wrong, please send me a text if I am wrong or correct. What type of SB account can be opened for a prisoner? A person is in jail. So whether you can open an SB account, yes, you can open an SB account. What is the name of the SB account? So the name of the SB account is Canara Small Savings Bank Deposit Account. It is a relaxed KYC norms, whereas BSBD is fully KYC compliant account. Whereas Canara Small Savings Bank Deposit Account is a relaxed KYC norms, so no KYC documents. It is a self-attested photograph on the back of the photograph or account opening form to be signed in the presence of the branch officials and the same to be certified by the branch officials in the account opening form. Then so here the conditions are there. So no KOC document is given, only photograph is given. In the presence of the branch officials, that he has to sign the account opening form. Branch officials will attest with the photograph also. Aggregate of credit in a financial year, it should not exceed more than 1 lakh. Similarly, aggregate of all withdrawals, including ATM, does not exceed 10,000 in a month. Balance at any point of time does not exceed 50,000 rupees. So aggregate credit should not exceed more than 1 lakh. Then aggregate withdrawal in all modes, including ATM, should not exceed 10,000 in a month. Balance at any point of time should not exceed 50,000. The above limit on balance shall not be considered while making deposits through government grants and welfare benefits. That one point you have to take. To remain this account once opened, it will remain operational for a period of 12 months. For another 12 months, if the account holder gives proof of having applied for OBD, you can extend the account without KOC documents for another 2 months. So first 12 months without KOC document, the account will be operational. So after 12 months, the account has to be operated. He should give either the OBD, you have to comply with your normal SB account, or he should give you a proof of address for having applied for OBD. And in that case, you can extend it for the 12 months. So he should not have any other SB account in the bank like BSBD. If he is having, he has to close it within 30 days. Similarly, he should also give you a declaration that he is not having any other small savings SB account with any other bank in the country. Foreign remittances is not allowed in this account. Persons in jail can open and the jail warden to attest the photograph along with the branch officials. So this is with regard to Canara Small Savings Bank Deposit Account. Okay, sir. So Canara Small Savings Bank Deposit Account, question number 42, product code is 127. Okay. Then we are going to conclude shortly. Now current account. I think yesterday, recently, 2 days back, I saw a circular 737/24 or 757/24. So there is a latest circular. Whether question will come or not, I do not know. Please go through it. In that circular, one important point has come. Before opening a current account, either in the name of the individual or in the name of the entity, branch official should visit the place of their residence or place of their business, take a photograph, geotagging, and that has to be sent to CPH that has to be uploaded to CPH along with the account opening form. So that turnaround time, etc., is given from the date of giving the application. So questions may ask, may not come, or may come. So I have not gone through it because I am in Germany. The circular I have not yet gone through. I was told that it is 757 or 737/24. Now, Opening of current account. So earlier, we have been freely opening the current account by taking some declaration from the customer that we don't have a borrower account, etc., etc. Now, subsequently, in the year 2020 or 2021, Reserve Bank of India has restricted the opening of the because the parties are having OD, OCC, term loan accounts in some other bank. Without the knowledge of the other bank, they come to you and open current account and do the transaction. So the money is not used through the OD, OCC account to by the sanctioned bank. So Reserve Bank of India has come out with certain conditions or certain restrictions with regard to opening of current account by banks. What is the restriction? Okay, sir. So I have given here NND consolidation, NND points and circulars. Let's not go through it. One question is there, we'll go through. So please go through the this one. This circular 165/23 or these PowerPoints with regard to NND. So questions may come. If it comes, you should not miss it. That is my idea. Then everything is there. Okay. Opening of current account guidelines. For borrowers who have availed OD/OCC facility from the banking system, if the borrower has availed, so a person is coming to you for opening a current account. So you have to ensure that so he has not availed OD/OCC facility from some other bank, or if he has availed, it should not be beyond certain level. So now that you have to ensure, then only you have to open the SB current account for them. Through which mode you will find out whether he is having a auditor advances account or something like that. So what type of business he is doing, ask for a balance sheet or go and refer the CRILIC report, Central Repository of Information on Large Credits. So that is, they will tell you in the credit monitoring and review classes. So whenever the exposure to a party by any financial institution in the country is above 5 crores, so the data about the customer to be sent, to be uploaded in a platform of Reserve Bank of India called CRILIC. So exposure is 5 crores and above to be uploaded every time on a monthly basis to this CRILIC platform. So from the CRILIC report, if you download, you will come to know whether this person is having 5 crores and above exposure from other bank, ODOCC or term loan, etc. So the banks have to ensure these persons are not having, or if they are having, what is their exposure from the banking system. Okay. Now we are going to see whether current account can be opened for them and what is the guideline with regard to opening the current account. For borrowers who availed OD/OCC facility from the banking system, no restriction for opening current account if the OD/OCC exposure is less than 5 crores from the banking system. From the entire banking system, if they applied for less than 5 crores, you can open a current account without any restriction. Suppose undertaking from such persons to obtain that they will inform the bank if the OD/OCC facilities availed by them reaches rupees 5 crores or more. Very simple. Then then they are classified into if the ODOCC facility availed by them is above 5 crores. If the ODOCC exposure is 5 crores and above from the banking system, they can open current account with whom? They can open current account only with the bank from whom they availed the facility, provided that the bank has at least 10% of the exposure of the banking system to that borrower. Let us assume he has availed an ODOCC facility from one bank. If it is above 5 crores, the exposure is 5 crores and above, then if I have not given any loan to ODOCC, I should not open any current account for that borrower. It has to be opened by that bank only, which has given the exposure is 5 crores and above. Suppose the exposure of 5 crores and above is from 2-3 banks. Then you have to see which bank is having share of 10%. If no, so whichever bank is having a share of 10% above the exposure, then with that bank only, you can permit to open the current account. In no bank, the exposure is 10% and above. In one, let us assume it's having in 5 banks and equally distributed 2 crores, 5 into 2, 10. No bank is having more than 10%. Then so the bank with which he is having the maximum exposure, he can permit it to open the SB account. So, sorry, current account. So if the ODOCC exposure is 5 crores and above from the banking system, they can open current account only with the bank from whom they avail the facility, provided that the bank has at least 10% of the exposure of the banking system to that borrower. In case none of the lenders has at least 10% exposure of the banking system to the borrower, The bank having the highest exposure may open the current account. The idea is if the exposure in OD OCC is 5 crores and above, the banks other than the lending bank should not open the current account. Only the lending banks can open. Which lending bank can open? That depends upon the exposure. Out of the exposure 10% above, or if it is not less than, if it is less than 10%, exposure having the highest. If exposures are the same, then any bank can open. Only the lending banks can open. Suppose, so they told, so for example, if the exposure is 50 crores and above, let's assume 10% of 50 crores is rupees 5 crores. If any bank has given 5 crores and above, current account to be opened in that bank only. If no bank has given 5 crores and above, current account to open with the bank which has the highest exposure. Of the exposure is the same, all the banks given the same exposure, then any one of the bank can open the current account. So what they are told, for OD current account opening, for OD OCC, if the exposure is less than 5 crores from the banking system, any bank can open the current account. But a declaration to be obtained that once the exposure crosses 5 crores and above 5 crores, he will intimate the bank. Second point, if the exposure is 5 crores and above, then only the lending banks can open the current account. Non-lending banks cannot open the current account. So if the lending banks open, which lending bank can open? 10% and above exposure. If there is less than 10% bank which is having the highest exposure can open the current account to the borrower. So suppose let's assume two banks or three banks are there. One bank has opened the current account. There are remaining two other banks are there which are lent to the borrower, to the person. Then other lending banks may open only the collection account subject to the condition that the funds deposited in such collection accounts will be remitted within 2 working days of receiving such funds to the current ODOCC account maintained with the banking with the maintained with the bank, maintaining the current account of the borrower. So 5 crores and above, which bank can open? Whether the other lending banks can open, they cannot open current account. They can open an account called a collection account. So all the wherever the collection money is coming, so the funds in that collection account to be transferred to the current account opened with that one main bank is there. No, within how many days? Within 2 working days of receiving such funds to which account they have to transfer this fund, which is in the collection account of ODO, sorry, in the collection account, in the current account with the other banks, they got to transfer the funds to the OCC and OD account maintained with the bank, maintaining the current account of the bar. They should not transfer to the main current account. They should transfer only to the ODOCC account of the borrower, where the current account of the borrower is maintained. Non-lending banks are not permitted to open current account to such borrowers. So very clear. ODOCC less than 5 crores, 5 crores and above. Who can open current account? Who can open collection account? From the collection account when funds are to be transferred. Okay, sir? Any question comes, you should not miss. Now, let us assume the person is not having ODOCC at all. So when he has an ODOCC and term loan, the guidelines for ODOCC is applicable. Okay, so you have to see. Now we'll see the term loan, then you will get an idea. So in case the customers who have not availed the ODOCC facility at all from any bank, but they have other exposure, so branches may open current account as under. So they are not opened ODOCC with other bank, but they have other exposures. So in that case, whether Canara Bank can open a current account for them. The exposure of 50 crores and above from the banking system, any other, it may be a term loan, non-fund based limit, anything. So if the exposure of 50 crores and above from the banking system, if they availed an exposure, then who can open current account for those parties? Banks to put in a place of escrow mechanism. Borrower is free to choose any lending bank as the escrow managing bank. Okay, so when the exposure is 50 crores and above, other than ODOCC, then an escrow account mechanism to be in place. The escrow banking bank can be any bank among the lending bank as per the choice of the borrower. Then the current account to be opened only with the escrow managing bank. Current account to be opened only with the escrow managing bank. Other lending banks can open collection account and the fund in these collection accounts to be transferred to the escrow account as per the periodicity agreed upon. That, that OCC exposure above 5 crores, the collection account funds to be transferred within 2 working days to the ODOCC of the bank, account of the bank where the current account is maintained. Here, the funds to be transferred at the periodicity agreed upon to the escrow account maintained with that bank where the borrower has chosen that bank. Non-lending banks cannot open current account for such borrowers. If the exposure is 50 crores and above, other than ODOCC, non-lending banks cannot open any current account for such borrowers. Only escrow managing bank can open current account. Other lending banks can open collection account and funds from this collection account to be transferred to the escrow account as per the periodicity agreed upon earlier. Borrower has the choice to select the bank where he wants to maintain the escrow mechanism. Okay, it is above 50 crores. Then so for ODOCC, only two classification. So less than 5 crores, 5 crores and above. Other than ODOCC, first is above 50 crores. Now the second one. The exposure is 5 crores and above in from the banking system, but less than 50 crores. If the exposure is 5 crores and above, but less than 50 crores, these things are other than ODOCC, sir. So in that case, what is the mechanism? No restriction for lending banks to open current account. Any lending bank can open. Any lending bank can open. Two banks, three banks, any lending banks can open. The non-lending bank can open. Non-lending banks can open collection accounts and funds to be transferred to the escrow account as per the agreed periodicity. So, if the exposure of other than ODOCC is above 5 crores up to 50 crores, then current account can be opened by any bank besides the escrow account. Then, current account can be opened by any lending bank. Okay, the non-lending banks which are not given any loan to the borrower can open only collection account and funds from this collection account to be transferred to the escrow managing bank or escrow account as per the periodicity agreed upon. Suppose if the exposure is less than 5 crores from the banking system other than ODOCC, any bank can open the current account like ODOCC, no? Where the exposure is less than 5 crores, I told you any bank can open. Similarly, other than ODOCC exposure, if any other exposure the borrower is having less than 5 crores from the banking system, any bank can open the current account. Undertaking a letter to be obtained from the customers if the exposure becomes above 5 crores, less than 50 crores or 50 crores, etc., they will be governed by the respective provisions. Okay. So suppose if the borrower is not at all having any exposure, either ODOCC or term loan or NBF, etc., no restriction for any bank to open any account. Okay, sir. This is with regard to the conditions. So let us not spend more time on that. Some exceptions are there. Quickly, let us read the question. You will get an idea. So question number 1 minute, sir. Question number 43. Question number 43. Which is correct with regard to, okay, this you see the question number 43, let us not spend time because I already given the PowerPoint, you will understand. So NNND scheme that is also given there, please go through. Anyway, I will put along with the answer. Okay, question number 45. As per deposit policy 2024-25, which one of the following is correct with regard to opening current account by banks in respect of customers who are availed ODOCC facility with exposure of rupees 5 less than 5 crores from the banking system? For these borrowers, there is no restriction for opening current account by any bank by obtaining an undertaking letter. As and when the credit facilities availed by them reaches 5 crores or more, they will intimate the bank. That is correct. Those borrowers can open current account only with any banks in which they have availed. That is, oh, so there is something wrong in the question. Those borrowers can have current account which is as deposit which is correct. Okay. So point number 1. Point number B. Those borrowers can open current account only with any banks in which they have ODOCC facility. Okay, that is not that less than 5 crores. They can open current account with the bank in which the highest share of ODOCC account. Point number D. These borrowers cannot open current account with any bank. So what is the question, sir? So answer, what is the answer for this here? It is there. So as per HO circular 2, the deposit policy of the bank, which one of the following is correct? So what is that? What is that? A. A is for those borrowers. That is for these borrowers, there is no restriction in opening current account by any bank by obtaining an undertaking letter that as and when the credit facility is availed by them reaches 5 crores or more, they will intimate the bank. So point number A is correct. Point number A is correct with regard to question number 45. Question number 46. As per the deposit policy 2014 to 24-25, question number 46, deposit policy 24-25, which one of the following is correct with regard to opening current account by banks in respect of borrowers of ODOCC exposure of 5 crores and more from the banking system? Such borrowers can maintain current account with any of the banks with which he has ODOCC facility, provided that the bank has at least 10% of the exposure of the banking system to that borrower. Correct. Point number B. In other banks in which the borrower has OD exposure, in which other borrower has a ODOCC exposure, can open collection account with the condition that the funds deposited in the collection account will be remitted within 2 working days to the ODOCC account maintained with the bank, which has at least 10% of the exposure. Correct. Point number C. If none of the banks has at least 10% of the OD exposure to the party, the bank having the highest exposure can open the current account. Correct. Non-lending banks cannot open current account for these borrowers. Correct. So question number 46. So which is correct? All of them are correct. Answer is E. Question number 47. As per the deposit policy, question number 47. As per the deposit policy 2024-25, which is correct with regard to opening of current account for borrowers who have not availed ODOCC facility from the banking system. So they are not availed ODOCC. See the answer now. If the prospective customer is having any credit facility of 50 crores and above other than ODOCC in any bank, banks require to put in an escrow mechanism and the current accounts of such customers to be opened only by the escrow managing bank. Correct. Other lending banks can open collection accounts and the funds to be remitted to the escrow account from the collection accounts as per the agreed periodicity between the borrower and the banks. Correct. If the prospective customer is having credit exposure of 5 crores to less than 50 crores other than ODOCC, banks which lend the facility can open current accounts and non-lending banks can open collection account. Point number 4. If the prospective customer is having exposure of less than 5 crores in any bank other than ODOCC, banks can open current account with a declaration from the prospective customer that the credit facilities availed by them reaches 5 crores and above, they will inform the bank. Whatever options, the option which is correct or not correct, which is correct. So option A, 1 and 2 are correct. B, 1 to 4 all are correct. C, 1 to 3 only is correct. D, none of these. The option is B. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the 4 are correct, which we have seen in the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, sir. Now, next question. Quickly, we'll go through. Records pertaining to unclaimed deposits are to be preserved for how many years after the account is closed? So what is an unclaimed deposit? Where it is defined? Quickly we'll go through, sir. We'll also go through I'll quickly explain the Depositors Education Awareness Fund also. Questions is possible because we have a DEF policy also in the back. Okay. So what is an unclaimed deposit? Section 26 of Banking Regulation Act talks about the unclaimed deposit. There are two types of deposit in the bank, you know. One is term deposit. The another one is SB current account operative deposit. Okay. So, you know, if an SB and current account is not operated continuously for more than 3 years, there is no customer-induced transaction. If there are no customer-induced transaction in the ODOCC account, either financial or non-financial. Again, I repeat, if there are no customer-induced either financial or non-financial transaction in an SB or current account for more than 2 years, it is called an inoperative or dormant account. If the inoperativeness continues for that is more than 10 years, if the operative account becomes inoperative, that means there is no customer-induced either financial or non-financial transaction for more than 10 years, then it is called an unclaimed deposit. Similarly, coming to your term deposit, After maturity, if a deposit, automatically you are renewing. In some cases, there is no automatic renewal is possible. So if the deposit after mature, if the customer is not coming back and asking the deposit, which is in the overdue deposit, no, after maturity, if it lies with the bank for more than 10 years, it is called an unclaimed deposit. Both for operating account, no operation for 10 years, it is an unclaimed. A term deposit, maturity process are not claimed after 10 years. Within 10 years, this is also called an unclaimed deposit. Which section defines the unclaimed deposit? As per Banking Regulation Act, Section 26 is defining the unclaimed deposit. So far, what banks have been doing with the unclaimed deposit, they have been retaining with them. But from June 2014, if I am correct, Reserve Bank of India has introduced a concept called Depositors Education Awareness Fund. This is as per which section they ask that question. As per which section of which act Depositors Education Awareness Fund has been introduced by RBI. So unclaimed deposit is section 26. Depositors Education Awareness Fund is section 26A. So as per the Depositors Education Awareness Fund, if the deposit, unclaimed deposit remained with you after 10 years, you cannot keep the unclaimed deposit with the banks. It has to be transferred. That is next. Suppose one deposit is completing 10 years this month, October. Before the end of November, this unclaimed deposit to be transferred to the Depositors Education Awareness Fund. Let us assume a deposit is remained after maturity, remained with you for 10 years. Okay, after 10 years, it has gone to unclaimed deposit. So for the 10 years, for the overdue period, when the deposit, let's assume depositor coming to you after 15 years of the maturity. So after maturity, 10 years it was with you. The next 5 years, it is with the Depositors Education Awareness Fund. So the 10 years when it was with you for the overdue period, what interest you will give? So I told you what interest you will give, SB interest rate or the contracted rate of the deposit, whichever is less if it is domestic deposit. If it is NRE term deposit, SB interest you will pay for the overdue period. Now, for the remaining 5 years, it was with DEF, that is with RBI. Whether RBI will give any interest? Yes, RBI also for the 5 years on that portion, they will give the interest. As on date, what is the interest Reserve Bank of India is giving for the DEF deposit? It is 3% per annum. They are giving 3% per annum. So for 10 years, you will give one interest on the maturity value. For 5 years, they will give one interest. Both the interest put together, along with the maturity value, you have to give the money to the depositor. So this is section 26 unclaimed. Then section 26A is Depositors Education Awareness Fund. What is the period of the transfer of the deposit to the unclaimed deposit fund, and what is the interest you are going to get? So how many years you have to maintain the documents related to the unclaimed deposit or Depositors Education Awareness Fund? So you have to maintain the document as per Canara Bank's guideline. You have to maintain the document till the account is closed. Before the account is closed, you should not destroy anything. So in regard to the unclaimed deposit or deposit, after the account is settled, money has got back from the government or unclaimed, it is not more than 10 years. So you are giving back to the customer, etc. etc. So if the unclaimed deposit or Depositors Education Awareness Fund transfer deposit, if it is closed, for how many years the closed documents to be maintained after closure? As per so your policy on a document handling policy of Canara Bank, you should be preserved for 20 years. Question number 48, answer is 20 years. So here I have not only told 20 years, I explained to you in nutshell about unclaimed deposit and Depositors Education Awareness Fund. Okay, sir. How many slabs are there in the interest rate for domestic and NRO deposit as per HO circular 97/24? Sir, so these type of questions are also find a place, or which slab is not there in that circular, that also they are asking. So don't just ignore the deposit interest rate circulars, questions may come. As of now, as per HO circular 97/24, you have 11 slabs are there. 11 slabs are there, including the 444 days. Answer is 11 slabs. So that is why I have given the deposit interest rate circulars. Please go through once. So 1 or 2 marks you may miss if you do not go through it. As on date, it is 11. Question number 49. Question number 50. How many slabs are there in the interest rate for NRE term deposit as per HO Circular 97 bar 2024? Here we have 6 slabs. For NRE term deposit, we have 6. But how many slabs will be there for FCNR? All banks it is the same. 1 year to less than 2 years, 2 years to less than 3 years, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 only. If it is FCNR, the slabs or tenor is only 5. So in the domestic term deposit, as on date, Canara Bank is having 11, and for NRE, they are having 6 slabs. Okay. Then who bears the exchange rate fluctuation risk FCNR deposit? So respective banks. So for question number 51, answer is A. Respective banks bear the fluctuation. Question number 52. As per RBI guidelines, bulk deposit for regional rural bank means, I told you, with effect from June 2024, the definition of 7/6/2024, Reserve Bank of India has modified the master direction on interest rates on deposit. So as per this direction, bulk deposit for scheduled commercial banks, including small finance banks, is 3 crores and above. For a regional rural bank and local area bank, it is rupees 1 crore and above. So what is the answer for the question number 52? For answer for question, so here they ask, as per RBI guidelines, bank bulk deposit regional rural bank means single rupee deposits of 3 crores and above, single rupee deposits 1 crore and above. So question number 52, answer is B. With effect from which, suppose if they ask you with effect from which date Reserve Bank of India changed the definition of the bulk deposit, it is from 7/6/2024. Sometimes they are asking the dates also. So 7/6/2024, it is 1 crore and above for whom? Regional rural banks and local area banks. Question number 53. If a reinvestment term deposit, a recurring deposit, let's assume KDR, reinvestment term deposit in Canara Bank, it is KDR. If a reinvestment term deposit matures on a holiday, as per the deposit policy of the bank, whether bank has to pay interest for the maturing days, holidays, intervening holidays, which are all the guidelines, on the contracted rate, on the maturity value for the holiday. SB interest on the maturity value for the holiday, on the contracted rate on principal amount for the holiday. SB interest on the principal amount for the holiday. Which deposit matured, sir? Reinvestment deposit and RD. So RD or reinvestment is the maturity value. Only in the fixed deposit, this is the principal value because you are giving the interest then and there. So in the case of a reinvestment deposit or RD, on the maturity value for the holiday period, what interest you will give? We will give the rate of interest for which the deposit is accepted. So the answer for the question is, so on the contracted rate, on maturity value of the for the holiday, we will give if it is a reinvestment term deposit. If it is a fixed deposit on the contracted at the contracted rate on the principal of the fixed deposit, we will give interest. So you have to see whether it is a reinvestment deposit or recurring deposit. What is the rate at which the deposit is accepted? What is the maturity value or what is the principal if it is FD? For that, for the holiday, we will give interest. Okay. When depositors are, this question they asked last time, when depositors are to be reminded about the due date of the deposit by sending notice. So a question answer for the question is none of these. The correct answer is 14 days in advance. 14 days in advance, the deposit due notice, either physical notice or SMS or email, to be sent to the depositor that your deposit is maturing. They'll give only the deposit number, they will not give the maturity value, etc., etc. So 14 days in advance of the maturity. Please note it that. Okay. Then because we are not sending any deposit, somebody is sending some SMS, so we don't know that it is 14 days in advance. Question number 55. Who is vested with power for transfer of term deposit from one branch to another outside the city municipal town limits for deposit of rupees 5 lakhs and above and $10,000 of 10,000 or its equivalent in FCNR deposit? Earlier, for transferring the deposit like this, so you have to get permission from RO or CO, etc. Now everything has been dispensed with, irrespective of the deposit size or within the city limit or outside the city limit, the transferor branch in charge. So where the deposit is there now today, so that is the transferor branch. The transferor branch in charge has the power to transfer the deposits to other bank. Last year the circular has come. Who has the power? The transferor branch in charge. That is branch in charge of the transferor branch. Okay, question number 56. Which accounts need not to be classified as inoperative if there are no customer-induced transaction for more than 2 years? So there are no customer-induced transaction. So what is customer-induced transaction? Either financial or non-financial. So financial debits and credits. Non-financial, he goes to ATM and he sees the balance in his account. That is a non-financial transaction. Or through his internet or mobile banking, he does the re-KYC. Or he comes to the branch, you are doing the re-KYC. All these things are non-financial customer-induced transaction. So whether financial or non-financial customer-induced transactions are not there for more than 2 years, only an account to be classified as an inoperative account. So in some cases, even though there are no operation for more than 2 years, either financial or non-financial, those accounts need not be classified as inoperative accounts. Which are those accounts? Accounts opened for credit of scholarship amount and credit of direct benefit transfer under government schemes. Accounts opened for scholarship amount or amount transfer for subsidy, etc. is there, no? And the direct benefit transfers, these accounts need not be classified as inoperative even after 2 years. That is a recent guideline. This year the circular has come. Okay, sir. Question number 57. Who is empowered to appoint a guardian in respect of a person who is mentally ill? The 58th question was asked last time or year before last. People ask me, what is that? It is there in your deposit policy. Who is empowered to appoint a guardian in respect of a person who is mentally ill? If a person is mentally ill, either the district court or the district collector. So either the district court or the district collectors are empowered to appoint guardian in the case of such persons under Mental Health Act 1987. Under Mental Health Act 1987 of Government of India, district courts or district collectors are empowered to appoint guardian in respect of mentally ill persons. So other than that, the National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation, and Multiple Disability Act 1999 empowers to appoint whom they can be appointed to appoint guardian for such persons. For these people, so that is the answer for the question is local level committee. Last time what they asked is who is empowered? That is the local committees are empowered to appoint guardian for mental, that is these persons with palsy, etc. Then this is as per which act or as per which trust? The answer for the question is the National Trust for Welfare of Persons with these things, Act 1999 empowers local level committees to appoint guardian for such persons without the certificates, etc. That is, you have to be careful for operating the account. Okay. What is the interest RBI pays for unclaimed unclaimed deposit transfer to DEF? DEF means Depositors Education Awareness Fund with effect from 11/5/2021. So this is as on date also. If they ask as on date also, it is 3%. So when the DEF was introduced in June 2024, from June 2024 to June 2028, 2014. From June 2014 to June 2018, the rate was 4%. Then from 1/7/2018 to 10/5/2021, the rate was reduced to 3.5. And from 11/5/2021, as on date, for the DEF balances, Reserve Bank of India gives 3%. Anything, because there was a circular this year on this, giving the interest rate. In 2024, beginning on circular has come. So please understand that interest rate originally it was 4%. From 2014 to 2018, from 2018 to 2021, it was reduced to 3.5, and from 11/5/2021, as on date, it is 3%. Then, which bank is not covered under DACGC? Quickly, we'll go through the slide. Then we'll go to the other ones. The DACG is very important. So DACGC 5 lakhs deposits, etc., not a problem. Some they are not asking this question and they are asking this type of question. Which banks are insured by DACGC? All scheduled commercial banks, other than primary cooperative societies, all other banks operating in India, including foreign banks, deposits kept with them is covered under Depositors Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation. All commercial banks, including branches of foreign banks functioning in India, local area banks and regional rural banks, cooperative banks, the small finance banks, payment banks, other than primary cooperative societies is covered. Okay, this is very, very important. They are asking that question. The deposit insurance scheme is compulsory and no bank can withdraw from it. The DACG insures all deposits such as savings, fixed, current, recurring, etc. That is except the following types of deposit. Deposit of foreign governments, if it is there, it is not covered. They are asking which bank's deposit is not covered, or they are asking which type of deposits are not covered. Which bank is not covered? Primary cooperative societies. Which types of deposits not covered? You should be able to understand. So, which type of deposits not covered? Deposits of foreign government, deposits of central and state governments, interbank deposit, deposit of the state level development bank. These deposits are not covered by the DICGC. What is the premium? Premium 12 paise per rupees 100 of deposit with effect from 1/4/2020. Earlier premium was 10 paise. So DSAGs can collect higher premium based on a risk profile of a bank. So now the minimum, if they say 12 paise, higher premium also they can collect. Earlier, the maximum period they can collect only rupees 15 paise per 100 rupees of deposit. Now that is a premium they can collect minimum is 12 paise or 100 rupees of deposit. They can increase it more than also depending upon the risk profile of the bank. Premium to be borne by the banks and not to be collected from the depositors. So what is the how much premium you have to pay, etc. Suppose so within how many days you have to collect the premium? Sorry, you need not collect. The bank has to pay the premium. The number of days and number of months are there. So the important question what they are asking, if the bank are not paying the premium within the TAT to the DACGC, what is the penalty banks have to pay to DACGC? For delay of paying the premium within 2 months or something, if you see this point, you will get it. So if for the making the delay in making the DACGC premium, banks have to pay the penalty at the rate of bank rate plus 8% per annum. Bank rate plus 8% per annum, banks have to pay penalty to DACGC. Suppose if you want to keep some only less, you show only lesser deposit, you earn lesser premium. If the bank suppresses the figure, then the punishment imposed to the bank is up to 3 years imprisonment and fine as determined by DACGC. If it is delayed, bank rate plus 8%. If the deposit figure is suppressed and premium is given less, then in that case, imprisonment up to 3 years or any other fine as given by DACGC. Okay, other things, you can maximum deposit amount insured is 5 lakhs per depositor per bank. It is bank criteria. It is not the branch criteria. Okay, like NPA and SMA, it is the bank specific sorry, bank specific putting the custody and it is not account specific. That you should know. Okay, sir. Then this one account with this we'll wind up this study. Canara Bank, Canara SB Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So for that also we are opening an SB account. Product code 1616. All branches can open. The earlier only designated branches. Now all branches can open. Individuals, HUF, association, NGO, club, society, trust, and a company can open the account. Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, permission should be in place. Then main account will be with SBI Sunset Mark New Delhi. Earlier, all banks were having the account. Now the main account will be only with State Bank of India, Sunset Mark New Delhi. Other banks can open only that is account for this purpose, but the funds from where credits has to come, where the debit has to go in all those accounts we will see. Funds to be credited in these accounts opened by other banks from State Bank of India Sunset Mark New Delhi account only. funds have to come from there only. From nowhere else, funds has to come. Earlier, in all banks were opening and funds were coming directly from abroad to all the accounts. Now, Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs restricted it, and they say only the State Bank of India is the main account. There only the main money has to come. From there to all these branches account, the money can be transferred from that account. So other local cash credit, funds transferred through NEFT, RTGS is not permitted in the accounts opened by other banks other than State Bank of India. FCRA registration number to be updated in CH131. If they ask, you should not miss it. So people who have handled that, they know, and people who do not handle, they do not know. Many of us have not handled the account. That is why I put in the PowerPoint presentation. FCR registration number to be updated in CH131. Registration number is valid for 5 years. Renewal date also to be updated. Withdrawals of rupees 20,000 and above from these accounts, no, by account pay check, draft, and NEFT RTGS only. Cash should not be withdrawn from these accounts. Okay, sir. We will wind up that. Now we have another. Now it is around 8 o'clock. Yeah, sorry, it is 8 o'clock. 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe around 12:30 over there. Another 45 minutes. I will try to start this, and whatever possible, I will complete. So very, very important. The compromise. So NPA recovery matters and all will be discussed by some other faculty, including the third party. So there we have a lot of things to go through. SMA, there's a Surface Act, what are the guidelines, particularly fixing the reserve price. So fixing the reserve price every year undergoes a change. This year also in the recovery policy it is mentioned. And then SOP, they are given HO circular 461/24 with regard to within how many days, what all the things to be done. The new SOP has also come. Then recovery agents, then so many other things are there in the recovery policy other than the compromise policy of the bank. So those things some other faculty will be handling to you. Now this this compromise policy or the OTS policy of the bank, I want to discuss with you today. So compromise policy of the bank 2024-25 compromise policy. One side is the borrower, the other side is the bank. Okay. Now, where the compromise policy is told, the compromise policy of the bank is explained in HO Circular 247/24, which is the loan recovery policy. Subsequently, further some modifications have also come. Everything I have brought in this PowerPoint presentation. I have not made any question answer type because it takes time. So this PowerPoint presentation, if you go through once, you will understand, and if you hear the recorded video also, you'll understand, you'll get more clarity. If you have time, please go through the circular. So compromise policy of the bank. Now, for whom? So what is, there is nothing but OTS, one-time settlement. So what is an one-time settlement? A borrower has to pay 2 crores. Let's assume the amount the borrower has to pay to the bank is 2 crores. Bank agrees to get only 1.50 crores from the borrower and release him from everything. So remaining 50 lakh bank write-off. That is a normal terminology. Okay. So bank accepts 1.50 crores and releases the borrower for the remaining 50 lakhs. So it write off from remaining 50 lakhs, or OTS is settled, remaining 50 lakhs, bank has to write off from the book. There's a loss to the bank to the extent of 50 lakhs, only 1.50 crores the bank is collecting. Then how the bank is accepting it? You know, in the OTS, whenever we go for OTS, in one hand, you have to find out what is the cost of keeping the NPA account in your books, whether it is a substandard asset, whether it is a doubtful asset, whether it is a loss asset, or whether it is willful defaulter, or it is a fraud case, etc., etc. What is the cost of keeping the account, your book maintenance, follow-up, so that is then provision for these accounts, and everything is keeping the cost. One side, you find out the cost. In other side, you will find out just by writing this 50 lakhs from your books, 50 lakhs you are removing from the account by writing off, 1.50 crores he is getting. What is the benefit you are going to get? The difference between the two is called the opportunity cost. So the OTS formula in the banks is worked out based on that is opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? In one hand, what is the cost of maintaining the account, including the provision, etc. In other hand, by writing off the 50 lakhs and getting 1.50 crores, what is the benefit you are going to have? Always the benefit will be more than the cost. When the benefit is more than the cost, you work out a OTS formula and go for compromise policy. So in OTS, why banks forego? So in OTS, the opportunity cost, that is the benefit the bank is getting, is more than the loss bank is incurring in writing off that 50 lakhs or maintaining the account. So the opportunity cost is the criteria for working out your OTS policy of the bank. Once they ask, based on what cost the OTS policy of the bank has been worked out. The answer for the question is opportunity cost. Okay, one-time settlement. So normally one-time settlement we go for recovery and legal action initiated accounts only as per HO Circular 247/24. Over and above that, bank is having OTS policy under special OTS schemes. You forget it, that we will see separately. So normally OTS we go only for recovery and there is recovery action initiated on legal action initiated accounts only. So for special OTS, separate guideline, we will see separately. Now, recently this year, bank has introduced before going for OTS for recovery or legal action initiated accounts. So the account should have been minimum period of 6 months completed from the date of NPA for the normal OTS accounts. So account should have completed minimum 6 months in the from the date of NPA in NPA for going in for normal OTS. With regard to special OTS schemes, different periods will be there. So this is one change question may come. For going in for a normal OTS account for legal action or recovery action initiated account as well, chose 247 by 2024, the account should have remained in the NPA category for a minimum period of 6 months and above. Five months and above, or 2 years and above, 3 years and above. It should be minimum 6 months and above. This is the first condition. This has come recently in the bank. Earlier, I don't think that was there. Maybe during last year, 2023, it should have come. Okay. How the OTS amount a borrower has to pay is arrived at. So how the OTS amount a borrower has to pay is arrived at. We will see the guideline now. Now, there are three formulas are given for the OTS. So taking into account the three formulas, bank will decide how much the OTS amount the borrower you can take and allow him to go away. So the opportunity cost the bank, the benefit bank is getting is more. Suppose the realizable value of the security is sufficient to recover the full dues. So realizable value of the security of the borrower or security of a third party property or the guarantor security, if you are able to sell it and you are able to adjust it to the loan account, up to date paisa if you are able to recover. So realizable value of the security is sufficient to recover the full dues. Yes, still you can go in for OTS. If you go in for OTS, how much you have to collect from the borrower? So what is the formula? Okay. Second point, realizable value of security and net worth of the borrower and guarantor put together is not sufficient. It is not sufficient to cover the contractual dues. Whether you can go in for OTS, yes, in the first itself, you can go for OTS. Why not in the second? And the third one, realizable value of security and net worth of the borrower put together only is sufficient. Here, only realizable value only is sufficient. Here, only both put together only the net worth and all. We are writing in the papers only. Really, realizing it is very difficult. So realizable value of the security and net worth of the borrower put together is sufficient to recover the money, contractual dues. Then also we'll go for OTS. There is a separate formula for that. Then what is the third formula? Realizable value of the security and net worth of the borrower and guarantor not at all sufficient to recover the amount. In that case, naturally we'll go for OTS. Nothing is there. Here also we go for OTS. What is the formula? What is the formula means how much money you will ask the borrower to pay by applying the formula to settle the OTS. Next slide. So, if the realizable value of the security is sufficient to recover the contractual dues and decretal dues, RVS realizable value, normally we will ask the borrower to pay the full amount. We'll give him 8 points. This fellow is having so many things. You give, so don't worry about points too much. So many people are getting confused over that. Simply for the point, I'll give an explanation. So we give him, assign him 8 points. Normally, in this case, you have to ask the borrower to pay the full money only. So you will pay, ask him for the borrower to pay full money. So if he says, no, sir, I cannot pay full money, I will come for a compromise. In that case, the authorities, how much compromise formula they have to tell to the borrower. Book liability plus simple interest at MCLR for 1 year on 1/4/2024 plus 1.50%. What is book liability? So once the account becomes NPA, if it is a loan account, every month interest is debited. If it is an agricultural loan, once in 3 months or once 6 months, interest is debited. So in the book, if you see, there is a shadow balance that you should not take. Book liability means on the date of becoming NPA, whichever interest is not collected, that is recovered, that is reversed, no. So a book liability, there's a business object report. If you run the business object report, that business object report will give on the date of becoming NPA what is the book liability of the borrower. So you have to take the book liability plus simple interest at MCLR on 1/4/2024. If I am correct, it is 8.90. So in Canara Bank. So plus 1.50. So take the book liability, apply simple interest straight away. When the account is will become NPA, what was the book liability? When he is coming for settlement, you work out the interest at MCLR plus 1.50 and ask the borrower to pay. What is there in red ink I have given? 2.50 here, 1.50. The figure I am giving is MCLR plus 2.50 or MCLR plus 1.50 is for settling OTS for a willful defaulter or accounts where frauds were noticed. Yesterday itself, I told you while discussing the delegation of powers, OTS settled parties. OTS can be settled both for non-willful defaulters as well as for willful defaulters. Once you settle the OTS for the willful defaulter, various conditions are there. Various conditions are there. Willful defaulter, then after for giving a loan, etc., to give various conditions, various authorities are permitted in the bank. So here the idea is willful defaulters also OTS can be settled. So in that case, if it is a willful defaulter or fraud related cases, 1 year MCLR plus 2.50. Okay, so second point I told you, the realizable value net worth of the bar guarantor is only sufficient. After not only the realizable value, along with you have to take the net worth of the borrower or guarantor, then only it is sufficient to recover the entire liability. The point you just give 6 to him, and you have to recover book liability plus simple interest at MCLR on 1/4/2024. If I am correct, is 8.90 minus 0.50. Here you see plus 1.50. Here minus 0.50. And if it is a non-willful default, willful defaulter, it is MCLR plus 1.50. Why you are collecting only lesser interest from him? Because realizable value alone is not sufficient. When the realizable value network put together is not sufficient, he is not having anything, the point you will give him 4 points and recover the maximum amount possible. There is no formula. Try to recover the maximum amount from the borrower after the negotiation. This is the OTS formula. So how much you will recover from the borrower, ask him to pay for the OTS amount and clear the borrower from your side. So only if the accounts are more than 6 months old remained in NPA after becoming NPA, both for willful defaulter and non-willful defaulter, realizable value only is sufficient, realizable net worth is sufficient, both are not sufficient. MCLR plus 1.50, MCLR plus 2.50, MCLR minus 0.50, MCLR plus 1.50, maximum amount possible 864 points. Okay, let us see. So how to calculate the interest? I told you, MCLR plus 1.50. Let us see this. Simple interest to be calculated on what? On the book liability. So simple interest to be calculated on the reducing balance from the date of stoppage of interest on the account becoming NPA till the end of the quarter immediately prior to the date of submission of the OTS proposal. Let us assume the account has become NPA on 10/1/2020. When the account becomes NPA, the interest which is not recovered from the account, which is debited to the account, to be reversed. So when that is when the interest is for how many months interest is not recovered when the account become NPA, not normally 3 months. So the interest will be reversed. So the stoppage of interest in this account should have taken place from 10/10/2019. So from this stop, so the NPA date is 10/1/2020. Once the account becomes NPA 10/1/2020, at that time the liability, the system will reverse the interest already debited to the account because the interest is not recovered. 3 months interest would not have recovered. So the stoppage of interest or the book liability on 10/10/2019 will be taken into account. From the stoppage of interest, so let us assume the OTS date is 10/8/2023. So simple interest from 10/10/2019 to, so the when is the OTS date? The OTS date is 10/8/2023. You need not calculate simple interest till the OTS application date. The quarter prior to which the OTS, that is OTS proposal is submitted. Simple interest to be calculated on reducing balancing from the date of stoppage interest on the account becoming NPA till the end of the quarter immediately prior to the date of submission of the OTS proposal. So date of stoppage of interest is 10/10/2019. OTS proposal is 10/8/2023. Simple interest, so till 36/2023, if you collect, that is sufficient. You calculate the simple interest, then ask the borrower book liability plus simple interest you have to collect. Okay, so if the borrower is a non-willful defaulter, so let us assume realizable value is sufficient. Realizable value of the security is sufficient, but at the time of OTS, you come to know the borrower. So when the realizable value is sufficient, you give him 8 points. You recover from him as a non-willful defaulter, book liability plus MCLR on 1/4/2024 plus 1.50%. But at the time of OTS settlement, you come to know the borrower has died or the sale of property is very difficult due to litigation, etc. Natural calamity of the borrower leading to closure of the business. One e-auction you already gone under SARFAESI, but the e-auction has failed. So originally what point he has got? 8 point he has got, and the formula you are given. Now any one of these things or more than one these thing has happened for that borrower who has got 8 points, you can reduce maximum 2 points to the borrower and bring him to the next category. So even though realizable value of the security is sufficient, you have to charge MCLR plus 1.50. But now any one of these things or more than any one of these things happened in that account, you can bring him to 6 points and you can charge MCLR minus 0.50%. So maximum 2 points can be reduced for OTS purpose if anything has happened, even though originally he has fit in for point number 8. The minimum mark should not be below 4. Okay, already in the slab it is only 4. Okay, sir. Okay. Party, suppose, okay, we have calculated, you ask the party to pay the OTS amount. So party now, what for realizable for point number A, 8 point, 6 point, 4 point, how much OTS amount you have he has to pay, you are discussed. Now, parties, let us assume a party is falling under A category. So he is getting 8 points. So he says, sir, as per the formula, I cannot pay. That is MCLR plus 1.50. Book liability plus MCLR plus 1.50. I cannot pay, sir. I can pay only something less. Whether that proposal can be accepted? Yes, that proposal can also be accepted. Party is not able to pay the amount as calculated above. Is there any way out to settle the OTS? Yes. In exceptional cases, OTS proposals to be placed before next higher authority up to circle head power. Suppose if it is RO power, RO AGM power, it can go to RO head. If it is RO head power, it will go to circle office DGM, circle office GM, etc. etc. So in exceptional cases, OTS proposals to be placed before next higher authority up to circle head powers in respect of HO power account to be placed to the respective sanctioning authority. So again, I am repeating. So point number 8, sorry, 8.6.4 point, how much OTS amount he has to pay. Then he says, I cannot pay even that OTS amount, whether anybody can accept the proposal. Yes, up to circle at the CSE power, the next higher authority can, other than the original authority, who is the authority to settle OTS, that we will see later. So if the OTS and the OTS settlement authority depends upon the sacrifice amount. What is sacrifice amount? Who has power up to what amount? We will see in some other slide. So originally, one authority has the power to settle the OTS, but the borrower says, I cannot pay as per the formula. I want further reduction. Then the proposal can be placed to the next higher authority. Okay. Then next point. Accounts with book liability of rupees 1 crore and above. So book liability is 1 crore. Let's say he got 8 point, let us assume. Realizable value is sufficient. So book liability, how much, sir? What is book liability? I already told you. Book liability is 1 crore and above. He comes for OTS. Sir, I accept your formula. So book liability plus MCLR on 1/4/2024 plus 1.50%. I am prepared to pay. Leave me. What is a book liability? 1 crore and above. So even though the borrower is prepared to accept the formula and pay and goes for OTS, if the book liability is 1 crore and above, no authority in the bank to permit OTS other than CGM, GM, HOCAC and above authorities. So formula I told you, exceptions to the formula now I am telling. If he is not able to pay as per the formula, then place the proposal before the next higher authority. So if he is willing to pay as per the formula or not willing to pay as per the formula, whatever it is, if the book liability is 1 crore and above, then the proposal should not be processed up to the circle head level. So accounts with book liability of rupees 1 crore and above where adequate securities are available to cover the contractual decretal dues. So adequate securities are available to cover the contractual dues and decretal dues, and the liability is book liability is 1 crore and above, and parties are willing to pay either as per the formula or lesser, then the OTS proposal up to circle head CAC to be placed to GM, CGM, HOCAC only. No authority up to circle head power has power except under special OTS. You forget about the special OTS scheme. Okay, sir. If the realizable value is sufficient to cover the contractual and if the book liability is 1 crore and above, even when the borrower is willing to pay as per the formula up to circulated CSC power, the proposal should be referred to HO only. No authority in the circle has power to sanction that OTS. Okay. What about settlement of CGTMSC covered accounts? Yesterday, I talked to you about the CGTMSC covered account, isn't it? So, in the case of a CGTMSC covered account, there are two types of settlement. One, first they will pay 75% of the amount, and second, they will pay 25% of the balance. Okay, like that we have seen. So, whether in the CGS settlement, CGTMSC, bank has opted for the first option, first 75, then 25. Settlement of CGTMSC covered account. So before receipt of the first claim, if we want to go and settle for an CGTMSC, the OTS amount should not be less than the guaranteed amount by the corporation to be recovered under the OTS. After the receipt of the first claim amount, if the borrower is coming for the OTS, then maximum possible amount to be recovered based on the net worth of the borrower, realizable value of the security, etc. So the condition here is, in the case of a CGTMSC cover, before account becomes NPA, you are invoked a claim or you are not yet invoked the claim because blocking period is not yet over. In that case, so when the borrower comes for OTS, you have to see for that borrower what is the guarantee cover available. So you have to ask the borrower to pay at least the guarantee covered amount for the OTS. So once first claim has come, second claim is not yet come, then you try to recover the maximum amount from the borrower based on all those things. Okay, then now, I told you OTS can be settled both for willful defaulters, non-willful defaulters, and accounts where fraud has been detected. So for that also OTS possible. So when what is the formula? So book liability plus 2.50, like that we saw. So in the case OTS settlement based on the formula, there is a concept called the sacrifice. Based on the sacrifice amount only, various authorities in the bank are permitted to settle OTS. Coming to the cases where that is applicable for a non-willful defaulter. If he is a willful defaulter or cases where fraud has been reported, who has the power to settle the OTS in the irrespective of the sacrifice amount? irrespective of the sacrifice amount, that is management committee of the board is having power to settle OTS for these types of borrowers. Okay, who is the power? Normally, it is based on the sacrifice amount. Here, irrespective of the even if the sacrifice amount is 10 rupees, 100 rupees, or 1000 rupees, whatever it is, so MC of the board only has the power to settle OTS for these types of borrowers. Okay, third point, you should know under OTS what are all the guidelines. Then whether OTS can be considered for ex-employees, whether it can be considered for employees, no. It can be considered for ex-employees. Normal OTS is applicable to the ex-employees for loans sanctioned to them, as well as for the loans in which they are either co-obligant or guarantor, provided such loans were sanctioned to them after they cease to be in the services of the bank, after they be retired from the services, or after they come on VRS or whatever it is, after they ceases to be in the services of the bank, any loan availed by them, or for any loan they stood as a co-obligant or guarantor, if those loans become NPA, as per the normal OTS settlement policy, we can settle OTS for them. On the other hand, when they were in service, they have availed a loan, or when they were in service, they stood as a co-obligant or guarantor. You have to get from appropriate authority permission. You can stand as a guarantor or co-obligant in service. So education loan they have taken in service. After retirement, they could not be able to repay the loan. Housing loan, due to some reason, loss of pay, this thing, that thing, the account has become NPA. So for the loan sanctioned to the employees or to the loans for which they are co-obligant guarantor, when they were in service, OTS is also permitted. If the accounts become NPA, if the bank is not able to recover the money, OTS can be permitted by them irrespective of the sacrifice. Only CAC of the board only can permit OTS for such type of employees or ex-employee. So during the course of the that is after service, if they avail a loan, normal applicable to the customer. In service, they avail a loan, and it becomes it becomes NPA. OTS sacrifice, not based on the sacrifice sanctioning authority. It is CAC of the board, MC of the board for willful defaulters, CS of the board for employees whom they availed the loan when they were in service. OTS can be permitted by the CAC of the board. Then now, so what is so now there is so first we have seen the formula, etc., exceptions to the formula. Now there is a concept called unapplied interest in OTS. So what is unapplied interest? So normally whenever we say unapplied interest, immediately what comes to your mind? The account became NPA on one date. So when rate of interest is being charged subsequently, what is the contracted rate or decreted rate along with the penal interest, anything. So up to date on interest is charged. Today the liability is this much. So this we say is unapplied interest. That comes to our mind. For OTS purpose, this unapplied interest is not correct. We have a separate formula for unapplied interest. Again, I repeat. For OTS purpose, there is a concept called unapplied. So we have a concept called sacrifice. We have a concept called book liability. Now we have a concept called that is unapplied interest. Unapplied interest does not mean the contractor rate of interest applied to the account after the account becomes NPA. So now what is unapplied interest? It is for calculation of the sacrifice amount. It should be between the bank officials only. So whenever the borrower comes or how much I have to pay, account become NPA, you just see the pass sheet of the account. In the pass sheet, up-to-date interest would have been debited. You tell him this much money you have to pay. Okay, so but when he comes for OTS, you should not tell. So the unapplied interest, what we are going to discuss now, that unapplied interest, you should not tell him. You should tell him that this is the money you have to pay. Now, what is unapplied interest? So the concept of unapplied interest is from the date of stoppage of interest till the end of the quarter, immediately prior to the date of submission of the OTS proposal. I already told you, no, in the previous slide we saw. So you have to calculate the unapplied interest like that. It is for internal use to determine the sanctioning authority. It is not to be disclosed to the borrower. So for calculating the unapplied interest, you have to take whether it is a decreed account or non-decreed account, whether it is a substandard account or a doubtful account. So you have to take into all those things. Then you have to tell how to calculate the unapplied interest. Example. If it is a substandard account and if it is a non-decreed account, what is the concept of unapplied interest? Unapplied interest means something different for OTS. It is not the interest, contractor rate of interest. After becoming NPA till date, the contractor rate is not called the unapplied interest. That you have to tell to the borrower, this much money you have to pay to me. But while doing the calculation for the unapplied interest, you have to do this. You have to see whether it is substandard asset, whether it is a decreed account, whether it is a non-decreed account, whether it is a DA asset, decreed account, non-decreed account. Accordingly, you have to calculate the unapplied interest. So the unapplied interest which you are going to calculate will be less than mostly the contractor rate of interest. Okay. So if it is a substandard non-decreed account, 1 year MCLR as on 1/4/2024 plus 1.25 or the contractual rate including penal charges if any, whichever is less on simple basis on the book liability. So you take this and calculate the unapplied interest here. So if it is a decreed, either the above rate or the rate offered by the court, told by the court, whichever is less, you apply for calculating the unapplied interest. If it is doubtful, non-decreed, 1 year MCLR minus 1.50 or the contractor rate of interest, including penal interest, whichever is less, you are calculate for the unapplied interest from the date of stoppage of interest from the book liability. So if it is a doubtful decreed, so the above rates, the date of or the rates avoided by the court, whichever is less, you have to take. Whenever it is a decreed account, you have to see what is the rate avoided by the court, what is the rate you are going to charge for the calculation of the unapplied interest, whichever is less, you have to apply for the doubtful decreed accounts. So then loss account, non-decreed. So that like that formula is there, loss account decreed. So decreed account, it is there. So depending upon the category of NPA, depending upon whether it is a decreed account or non-decreed account, the formula for unapplied interest is given. So what you have to see, you have to tell the borrower how much I have to pay. So this much you have to pay. You have to tell a big amount to the borrower as per the pass sheet. But you calculate when you will tell him, sir, you pay this much amount, I will release you from this loan. How much amount I have to pay? Book liability plus the unapplied interest. What is that unapplied interest? How to calculate the unapplied interest depending upon whether it is a what category of NPA and what whether decreed or non-decreed. Depending upon which you will calculate the unapplied interest, you will tell the borrower, so book liability plus this is the unapplied interest which you have to pay. So for example, I have given substandard asset non-decreed account example. NPA date is 1/10/2022. OTS proposal is 1/8/2023. It is sufficient if you calculate interest till 30/6/2023 previous quarter. Contractor rate and assume 9%. Penal charges, once account become NPA, you have to charge 2% penal interest per annum on the entire liability. That is a recent guideline also. Penal interest 2%. Let us assume 11% is the contractor rate which you have to pay from the date of becoming NPA till today. That is your pass sheet will show. So but whereas it is a substandard non-decreed. What is the formula? So for applying finding out the what you say unapplied interest, 1 year MCLR on 1/4/2024. It is I have told it is 8.90. 8.90 plus 1.25. How much it comes, sir? 5 9 1 2 10 10.15 it is coming from the stoppage of interest till 30/6/2023. 1 year MCLR plus 1.25 which is coming 10 point 1 year 5 9 1 is 10.15 or 11% whichever is less on the book liability. Simple interest you have to calculate. So if you have calculated as per the contractual rate, you should have got at 11%. When you are applying this formula for the unapplied interest, he will pay only less interest up to 30 because 10.15 only he has to pay because we are going in for OTS. So what we will say, for book liability plus this much unapplied, this or you have to pay this much money. If we pay this much money, it is sufficient. We will relieve you from the OTS. So always you tell the borrower the contractor rate. So how much OTS we are going to settle? You tell this much OTS we will be settling. Don't tell the unapplied interest is like this. That is for our internal purpose only. Okay. So what is sacrifice amount? The delegation of power for OTS depends upon the sacrifice amount only. So book liability plus unapplied interest as per the formula minus the OTS amount offered by the party is called the sacrifice amount. So book liability he has to pay, and the unapplied interest as per the formula what I told you, you have to calculate either substandard, doubtful, or decreed or non-decreed. You calculate the unapplied interest. So both the amount he has to pay minus the OTS amount offered by the party is called the sacrifice amount to the bank. So if the borrower paid any amount after the account becoming NPA, if there is any chance, and the amount paid is appropriated towards interest, such amount to be considered as recovery of unapplied interest at the time of OTS. Okay, sir. Delegation depends upon the sacrifice amount. Delegation under OTS depends upon the sacrifice amount. See. So who is having the power? So both book liability plus your unapplied interest, who is having the power? If he is a non-willful defaulter and if it is a non-fraud account, sacrifice amount up to 300 lakh. The amount what I am mentioning is the sacrifice amount. What is sacrifice amount? Book liability plus unapplied interest minus the OTS amount offered by the party is called the sacrifice amount. So if the sacrifice amount is up to 300 lakhs, 3 crores, so CGM, GM, HOCSC has entertained the proposal. If it is 400 lakhs, so above 300, up to 400 lakhs, EDCAC can entertain. CSC of the board up to 12 crores. MC of the board has full power to entertain the, that is for non-willful, non-fraud case, has full power to entertain the proposal for OTS. So irrespective of the sacrifice amount. So coming to a willful defaulters on fraud cases, nobody is having the power other than that is MC of the board, which I already told you. So in the case of a fraud account or quick mortality account or sanctioned up to the CAC of the board, again, only a full power is available to the MC of the board. So that is, suppose if it is sanctioned by MC, if it is sanctioned by MC, that fraud account, etc., full power is vested with the CAC of the board. Then coming to a write-off staff account is there, sir. Staff account, the full power is available only for CAC of the board, staff members who have availed the loan when they were in service. Okay, this I already told you. Then write-off unapplied non-willful, non-fraud, non-criminal cases in the case of. So DMRO head CAC. DMRO head CAC is having power sacrifice up to 40 lakhs, like that it goes. CGM CO CAC up to less than 100 lakhs, 1 crore sacrifice amount, they have power to, that is, go in for OTS proposal. BLBs or BLB heads are having power for rupees 1 lakh, and ELB and specialized branches are having power 2 lakhs. So only, so what is the power is given only for DA more than 3, doubtful asset more than 3, and loss accounts and waiver of unapplied interest only. So branch in charges of BLBs and ELBs for waiver of the unapplied interest, if the loan account is a DA more than 3, or loss accounts, if the waiver of unapplied book liability, they should not write off. If the waiver of unapplied interest is only up to 1 lakh in the case of a BLB, up to 2 lakhs in the case of ELB or specialized powers, they are the sanctioning authority for the OTS proposal once they ask this question. So that is why I have given in the footnote over there. Okay, sir. So this is the guideline with regard to the OTS proposal cases. So when to whom you will permit OTS, what is the formula you will apply for OTS, what is the exceptions you are going for OTS, then what is the question of an unapplied interest, up to what period the unapplied interest to be calculated. So that depends upon the various category. Then what is sacrifice amount? The sacrifice amount is nothing but book liability plus unapplied interest minus the OTS amount offered by the party. So depending upon the sacrifice amount, the delegation of settling the OTS varies with various authorities in the bank. So with regard to the branches do not have power, but for under special OTS scheme, we'll see later. But for VLBs or ELBs, they have power to that is to write off the unapplied interest calculated as above, up to 1 lakhs, up to 2 lakhs. In the case of doubtful asset, more than 3 years, and loss assets. In all other cases, in the normal OTS, it has to go to RO and above authorities only. So we have seen the formula, how it is being calculated, etc. Now, certain other guidelines also we are going to see with regard to OTS. Normally, the other points. For here, this point you see, OTS for fully. So let us not worry about this. Let us not worry about too much on that. Now, so this slide we will see full write-off without 1 year. Account become NPA. You ask the borrower to come for settlement. You went for surface or whatever it is. Nothing is possible. Nothing is possible. Or this account should file, etc., etc. You are going to decide about write off that account from your books. So no OTS, nothing is coming. Let's some small value accounts or something like that. You want to write off from that account. Who has the power to write off the account fully from the books of the bank, books of the account without the borrower coming for OTS? So RO head CAC, he can write off up to 10,000 rupees in an account. Both write off is both book liability plus unapplied interest put together. Book liability plus unapplied interest together, he can write off up to 10,000. So CO head CAC up to 25,000. CGM, GMHO, CAC up to 3 crores, EDCAC up to 4 crores, CAC of the board up to 12 crores, MC of the board full power. That is, whenever the borrower is coming for OTS, you will decide the sacrifice amount, you will permit the borrower to go for OTS. Sanctioning authority depends upon the sacrifice amount. Here also, there is no sacrifice, entire thing is the sacrifice. When the entire thing is the sacrifice, the borrower is not coming for OTS, RO gets CAC, CO gets CAC is having only limited power. They are having up to 1 crore. I told you, circulated CAC is having power for sacrifice in the case of OTS. But if it is fully going to be written off without any OTS, then circulate is having power up to only 25,000 rupees, like that. So, what is the condition for to write off a fully an account with OTS? Three conditions are there. Account should have been completed 5 years or more from the date of sanction. Account should have completed 5 years or more from the date of sanction. It should have been NPA for 3 years and above. It should have been NPA for 3 years and above. Should be loss asset as on 31st March of the previous year. Permission for legal action waiver from the appropriate authority to be in place and marked in CBS. If these three conditions are fulfilled, what is the three conditions? The account should have completed 5 years after the sanction. Then NPA, the account should have remained in NPA for 3 years and above, and should be a loss asset as on 31st March of the previous year. And if these things are complied with, and the account should have been marked for legal action waiver. So which accounts can be written off fully without OTS? Legal action waived accounts. What do you mean by legal action waived? There is a concept of AOD in the account, acknowledgement of debt. After giving the loan, once in 3 years, you have to get the AOD and keep the loan papers alive. If the account becomes NPA, you find out that borrower is not traceable. No, nothing is possible from the account. You recommend to the appropriate authority. Even by filing suit, you cannot get any amount in that loan. Unnecessarily, expenditure only will increase. So you get from the authority a permission for not filing suit. That is called a legal action waived account. Once you get a permission for a legal action waived, from subsequently, you need not get any AOD for that account, because we want the AOD only to go for a legal action. Once you get a permission for legal action waiver, there is no need for further going in for AOD. Only legal action waived accounts are permitted for, that is write off without any OTS. Various authorities are having power out to how much is the sacrifice amount they can do for writing off fully without any OTS legal action waived account, subject to these three conditions. Earlier, when the comes, there was no power even for the circle or for the RO. Last year, they gave some power. 2 years back, they gave some power to the circle, and last year, they gave power to the RO also. But the power is very much limited. Okay, sir? Then who is the authority to permit legal action waiver in Canara Bank? Delegation for legal action waiver. So liability is the criteria. So DM RO head, there is a DM heading an RO. He has power, the liability up to 40 lakhs, like that it goes. So AGM RO CAC, DGM RO CAC, like that CAC of the board. So who can permit waiver of legal action in an account? I told you what is waiver of legal action. That depends upon the liability in the account. So various authorities in the bank have power to waive legal action in an account wherever That is, it is no possibility of recovering the loan even by filing a suit. So RO, so then who can issue legal notice once they ask that question? Who can issue legal notice to the borrower? RO head and circle heads can issue legal notice for all the accounts under their delegated power. So up to circle head powers, so RO and branches do not, so RO heads and CO heads can issue legal notice for all accounts under the delegated powers. Coming to HO power accounts, if the account is under HO power, circle head can issue legal notice to the both borrowers, even though the delegation of power for sanctioning a loan comes under HO power accounts. Okay, sir. Now, so to this slides, we'll quickly try to so these are all the points which is coming under general points. Possibility of getting questions from these points under OTS is there. Then so they'll ask the question: what is the maximum amount we have to recover once the OTS is settled? General points: recover the maximum amount at the time of settlement. At least 10 to 15% you have to recover once at the time of settlement. You have to ask the borrower to pay. Then time for payment of OTS amount. Branch or RO sanction. So branch, I told you, they don't have much power until otherwise specialized OTS scheme or RO sanction. The maximum time you can give 3 months to the borrower to pay the OTS amount, either in singly or in installment after getting 10 to 15%. So for example, if it is an RO sanction OTS, you give the borrower maximum 3 months paying an installment. You have to get a post-dated check from the borrower. 3 months CO sanction, maximum 6 months time can be provided to pay the in installment or whatever it is, the OTS amount. And HO sanction, maximum 18 months can be permitted for the borrower to pay the OTS, fully pay the OTS amount. Branch RO sanctions for a longer repayment period within the overall 18 months, CGM, GM, HOCAC can permit. What do you mean by that? I told you, RO sanction maximum time is required is you can RO itself, RO sanctioning authority himself can permit 3 months. If the borrower says, no, sir, I cannot pay in 3 months, I want longer period. So you RO head can take up through circle or something through CGM HOCAC, asking for requesting to permit extension of time for repaying the OTS amount. What is the maximum time they can give? HO power sanction is 18 months. So if the RO asks for extension of time beyond 3 months, up to 18 months, beyond 3 months, up to 18 months, only CGM, GM, HOCAC can permit. Okay, so then what I want to drive home is, so the extension, that is time is given for clearing the OTS amount by the respective sanctioning authority, they themselves can give the time. If either CO or RO wants more than the time given to them, if CRO wants more than 3 months, if CO wants more than 6 months, they can take up with the CGM, HOCAC or GM, HOCAC appropriate authority, asking for extension of the time, and the maximum time within which the borrower has to pay is 18 months only, because that is a sanctioning power for GM or CGM, HO power accounts 18 months. Okay. So for maximum overall 18 months. If 12 months have lapsed from the due date as above, OTS proposal to be considered afresh. So now you have 3 months. You are given 3 months time. So 12 months is over after the 3 months. Then the OTS to be considered afresh. Or you are given 6 months time. Or you got extension of time. So from the time or extension of time what you have got, so 12 months is over. From the time fixed for repaying the OTS amount up to 3 months, RO himself will fix. If the borrower wants more than 3 months, RO will get permission from HO. So the time limit given to the borrower, beyond the time limit, if the OTS is not paid beyond 12 months from the time limit given to the borrower, that OTS stands lapsed and fresh OTS proposal to be considered to the borrower. Post-dated checks to be obtained. So whether you give 3 months or whether you give 6 months or whether you give 18 months, so for this period, even though time is given, you have to ask the borrower to pay interest on the OTS amount. On the date of settlement, if he pays the entire OTS amount, no question of any interest. So after that, he is going to pay the OTS amount either within 3 months or 6 months. Even though time is permitted, you have to ask the borrower to pay interest for the 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever it is. Interest on the compromise amount to be charged is 1 year MCLR prevailing on 1/4/2024 plus 1.50% simple from the date of conveying sanction till payment made, though time is given as permitted. Okay, so somebody is having power to waive that. So interest on OTS amount to be collected even though time is given within the norm. But some authorities in the bank has power to waive the time, that is that interest also for the OTS. We will see, and then we'll wind up the session today. So it is going beyond our head. Next session we will see whether interest can be waived when the OTS amount is paid within the accepted period. So 3 months you are giving, he pays after 2 months, or he pays up to within 3 months, whether interest can be paid. If paid within 3 months from the date of communicating the order till the payment of OTS, interest can be paid by the respective sanctioning authority. DGM COCAC, DGM Circle Head, or CGM GM COCAC can waive interest up to 6 months. So authorities at HO can permit waiver of interest up to 18 months. I will explain that. So RO sanction is 3 months. Okay. So our RO is getting power to get a waiver. So maximum 18 months CO will give. So RO say within 3 months he is giving. Okay, he is paying within 3 months. Within 3 months he has paid, but he has not paid on the same day within 3 months. So RO can waive interest for the 3 months. Suppose beyond 3 months, he is going to pay RO sanction, he is going to pay only in 5 months, let us assume. RO sanction he is going to pay only in 5 months, not within 3 months, then circle can permit waive up to 6 months. So beyond 6 months, any waiver is required, even though time is permitted, it has to, because maximum time you can permit only 18 months. So up to that, CGM, GM, HOCAC only can permit waiver of the interest for the OTS amount for the which he has paid during different periods, though the time is given by the respective authority. So generally they are asking the question, what is the maximum period within the OTS amount to be paid? The question will be very specific. So that is why I have made the slide little elaborative this time. What is the amount on the due date they have to pay the amount, that is on the date of settlement, minimum 10 to 15%, then 3 months, 6 months, 18 months. It can be extended beyond 3 months or 6 months with the permission of HO. Maximum it is only 18 months for the OTS period. So till the payment is made, though the time is permitted, interest to be paid. What is the interest? 1 year MCLR plus 1.50 from the date of conveying sanction till the OTS amount is paid. Whether any authority is having power to waive, if the OTS amount is paid within 3 months, RO can waive, and the OTS amount is paid within 6 months, CO has paid, can waive, and if it is beyond 6 months up to 18 months, CGM, GM, HOCAC can waive the interest on the OTS. Okay, sir, remaining 2, 3 slides, we will complete in the next class. I will take up some other subject. I will post it also in the group. Thank you very much for your patience waiting. It is morning 8:45 over here on Sunday weekend. Sun is yet to come over here in Germany. So we're waiting for the sun arrival. May not come today. So the weather is around 6 to 10 degrees over there during the daytime also. So thank you very much. We will meet in some other session when the time is given to me. Thank you very much. And thank you for the patience hearing. Hello. முடிச்சிட்டோமா க்ளோஸ் பண்ணி ஆஃப்டர்நூன் கிளாஸ் சொல்லணும். ஓகே.